I choose people based on fate, and if I accept you as my disciple today, I will naturally teach you everything I know. With that, the master pulls out a secret manual and softly asks, "Take a look at this book. Does it solve all of your burning questions?" Zhu Minglang takes the manual and quickly flips through a few of its pages. As he reads, he realizes this secret book contains not only the training methods for Jinlong but also details on other incredibly rare dragon species. Everything is written down in meticulous detail. And if he did not demand that I become the next sect leader, I would definitely take this book. Once finished, Zhu Minglang speaks up excitedly. "Hey old sir, is there any other way for us to make a trade besides me taking over your sect? This book is excellent, and I will buy it at any price." Yet, after waiting for a response, the leader remains completely silent, leaving him baffled. Only when Zhu Minglang takes a closer step does he realize the old master has already breathed his last. "Oh, you cannot make this up." The sudden shock makes him yell out in sheer panic, "Oh my god, he's actually dead." Zhu Minglang builds a grave for the fallen sect leader, raising a bowl of wine and slowly pouring it before the tombstone. "Even though your passing was incredibly sudden, and you basically forced this leadership position onto me," he solemnly tells the grave, "but since fate brought us together, I will pour this wine to show my respects." Zhu Minglang then gazes at the item in his hands with a heavy heart. "Xingai, I got the sect leader seal, but I am not prepared to lead a sect at all. What should I do now?" The elder reminds him that since it is a token of authority, taking it brings no harm. So just keep it. You should just continue on your journey as planned. Before long, outside the towering walls of the Xuanga kingdom, a guard stops Zhu Minglang in his tracks. "Where do you come from? Show me your identification documents right now." Zhu Minglang pulls out the sect leader seal, asking if this is enough. The guard gasps in shock, quickly changing his attitude as he respectfully clears the way for Zhu Minglang. "Forgive my rudeness, sect master of the Lao Long sect, Truk Thon Track. Please, right this way. It is perfect timing, as our city is currently hosting the Tiangsu Sacred Summit, and someone inside will guide you." As he follows the guard, you have to wonder how on earth did this guy already know his name was Truk Thon Track. Suddenly, a maid approaches to guide him, asking City Lord Truk to follow her to the Divine Marquis mansion where the gathering has just begun, and he casually agrees. "Sure," he says. The maid swiftly leads Zhu Minglang straight to the grand gathering. This is the sect master of Lao Long, Truk Thon Track, who just arrived. The Divine Marquis notes calmly, sizing him up. "Ah, the Lao Long sect. More than 10 years ago, they were the stars of the summit. How is your old sect master doing?" Zhu Minglang sadly shares the grim news. The old sect master has passed away, which is why he passed the leadership role down to me. Hearing this, he cannot help but sigh with heavy regret. "That is truly a massive shame," he mutters. Back then, his disciples were incredibly brilliant, but none of them stayed. "It is quite a relief that you came along to take over." Thantrai looks totally bewildered, voicing her inner confusion. "How on earth did you end up as their sect master? Aren't you Truk?" Zhu Minglang quickly clasps his hands, cutting off her question. "Ah, the Lady Dream Master? Truly a pleasure to meet you." Hearing this, the Divine Marquis speaks up, testing their connection. "So, you already know the disciple of the Dream Sect leader, Thuok Than Chi?" Realizing he was totally played, Zhu Minglang glares at Than Tri with annoyance. "So, her real name is actually Thuok Than Tri? We crossed paths once," he explains. She leans in, whispering with deep curiosity. "You actually became a true god, and even inherited the Lao Long sect?" Zhu Minglang can only offer a pretty awkward smile. "It is all down to fate. Please do not blow my cover here." Sitting down, he takes a slow sip of hot tea, then immediately brings up the issues surrounding the Lao Long sect. "From what you all said, none of Lao Long disciples stayed. What exactly happened back then?" With a heavy sigh, he speaks of a dark figure. Pham Quang Trong had a legacy disciple named Hoa Dong Min, who turned traitor the moment he mastered the arts, taking all the other disciples with him. Another guest nearby quickly pipes up with more details. Not only that, the old master actually created a technique to use soul pearls, just like a pill-refining cauldron. It can elevate a godchild level dragon straight to a god general level. But that precious cauldron pearl was stolen by Hoa Dongmin as well. Zhu Minglang grins, finally seeing a real use for his sect leader seal. Looks like this little token is not so useless after all. Now this is where things get interesting if he can reclaim that pearl. His dragons are getting a massive upgrade. An old man sitting nearby strictly warns them both. "You two better watch your mouths around here." Hoa Dongmin backed himself with the Huacho Divine Kingdom and leads their dragon palace, so talking too much might bring their wrath down on us. Shaking in disbelief, Zhu Minglang's eyes go wide with pure shock. Who would have thought the Lao Long sect's feud is tied directly to Huacho? Taking this seat makes his revenge totally official. Could fate itself be guiding his hands to destroy Huachu, lining up the perfect opportunity in the shadows? Right then, a testing voice cuts through the room, asking if he is the young master uncle. and Zhu Minglang turns to stare in confusion. "Who are you?" he asks. Wei Jian bows deeply, introducing himself as the master of the Tanglong sect. "I am Wei Jian. Tanglong is actually a branch of your Lao Long sect. I was pretty lucky to study directly under one of your disciples back then." Looking a bit awkward, he gently reminds him of something important. "Since you took the mantle of Lao Long, you should probably look over our ancestral records." Zhu Minglang slaps Wei Jian's shoulder, immediately acting like a wise senior. "Ah, so it is you, kid. Of course I know about it. I just did not recognize you for a second there." Another guest cheerfully hypes up Wei Jian, calling him an incredibly talented guy who deals in top-tier Dragon Soul pearls. "All our high-grade pearls are sourced directly from his shop, and the quality is always exceptionally good." Beaming with pride, Wei Jian offers his thanks, grateful for everyone supporting his little business. Zhu Minglang is quite amazed that Lao Long produced such talent, even if the main sect itself is currently in absolute ruins. Zhu Minglang asks to inspect the merchandise. "Could I take a quick look at your stock?" Wei Jian immediately pulls out a sample pearl and a price sheet. "Absolutely, Master Uncle. Here is the pricing along with a prime specimen, a God General level pearl from the ancient Desolate Dragon." Taking the glowing pearl, Zhu Minglang carefully scans the detailed price sheet. Naturally, raising that Desolate Dragon to God General rank is nearly impossible without some major luck. Yet somehow most of his inventory far exceeds typical standards. His mind starts spinning as doubts fill his eyes. Could he actually be involved in stealing the cauldron bead? Zhu Minglang quickly heads back to his seat to think. Then he proposes a wild plan to Thonqi. "Hey, can you pull me into someone's dream to steal their deepest secrets?" She immediately warns him that this is highly dangerous, but Zhu Minglang just calmly holds up 5 fingers in response. 50 million gold, are you down for this?" Deep down, she is absolutely thrilled and screaming with joy. Since she did the last job completely for free, she definitely needs this massive 50 million payday, though she still acts cool and says they can negotiate. Next, he points at Wei Jian standing just a short distance away, asking if she is absolutely sure she can get into his head. Confused and completely shocked, Thonqi quickly turns to warn Zhu Minglang of the danger. Going into a god-level dream is extremely risky, and one tiny mistake could completely ruin them. As she asks what he is after, Zhu Minglang seriously explains his motive. He wants the truth about the Lu Long sect incident, telling her she does not need to worry about the exact details. He just needs to know one thing: can she actually get them into Wei Jian's dream or not? She answers honestly, explaining she can only keep them inside for the burn time of a single incense stick. His eyes turn serious, that is plenty of time. Watching Wei Jian walk away, Zhu Minglang secretly resolves to pay him a private visit later tonight. Alright, check this out. They are setting up their trap now as Zhu Minglang sits down for a drink with Wei Jian. Wei Jian bows respectfully with flushed, drunken cheeks, deeply grateful that his younger martial uncle is finally giving him a chance. He is incredibly grateful to get such a massive order right after their very first meeting, which prompts a very gentle, knowing smile from Zhu Minglang. When asked how many days it will take to secure the requested Dragon Soul beads, the guy answers completely honestly. Hearing it will take 3 to 5 days, Zhu Minglang secretly slips a drug into his cup while casually saying he will wait. The guy groggily mutters a quick agreement before slamming down the spiked wine in one single gulp, his eyes instantly losing all focus as the drug kicks in. Once he slumps onto the wooden table, Zhu Minglang quietly whispers that the target is out cold and it is time to move. Pushing the door open to step inside, she places a mysterious mirror directly in front of his sleeping, drug-induced face. Thonqi slowly steps up and explains exactly how this magic mirror works. This special silver mirror will project his subconscious, and staring directly into it will pull both of them right into his dream world. He calmly nods that he understands, while inside the mirror, Wei Jian is already clutching his head and screaming in absolute frustration. In the dream, he is crying about how his wife ran off with someone else despite his godchild cultivation, just as the duo successfully slips inside. Glancing at him, she cautiously begins laying out their plan. Since his guard is completely down inside the dream, he will answer literally anything they ask, meaning they must play along with whatever crazy scenario his mind is currently throwing at them. To keep the dream going, Zhu Minglang looks at Thonqi and calmly tells her he gets it. Sitting down with absolute confidence, he casually tells the guy that keeping a wife takes way more than just raw cultivation power. You need actual money, and if you do not believe him, just ask the lady standing right over there. Crossing her arms to play along with the act, she quickly nods in agreement. While Wei Jian is left totally stunned by this, Zhu Minglang quickly takes advantage of the opening to press him even further. Pointing out that Wei Jian seemed completely hesitant during their business deal, as if he could not make his own decisions, Zhu Minglang lets his eyes gleam with a sharp, calculating focus. He asks directly if the guy borrowed the cauldron bead from Hoa Dongmin and is actually working for him. Wei Jian's face immediately darkens in anger as his eyebrows shoot up in pure frustration. Wondering how his uncle knew, he complains that the boss forces him to hunt dragons every single day to upgrade the soul beads. He is the one doing all the hard work hunting dragons. Yet that guy uses the cauldron bead to take the massive majority. Leaning in close to whisper a clever plan, Zhu Minglang asks if he ever thought about stealing that cauldron bead to monopolize the entire trade. But the guy immediately shakes his head, admitting that while he definitely wants it, the palm-sized cauldron bead is simply impossible to grab. Since Hoa Dongmin always keeps it on him and values it more than his own life, there is no way to steal it. Listening from the side, Thanchi notes that his story seems completely genuine, while Vijian continues to sigh in deep misery. And just when you think they might actually find a way together, the dream room door suddenly flies open with a furious voice screaming. The sect leader appears with an absolutely terrifying face and a raspy, demonic voice. Demanding payback from Wei Jian, the monster attacks, while Zhu Minglang quickly covers his face to squeeze out some final secrets. He asks why his master turned into a vengeful ghost targeting him, demanding to know what horrible thing he did to the old man. Wei Jian is far too terrified to speak, as a single, powerful blow from his master begins to shatter the entire dreamscape, bringing his absolute worst nightmare directly to life. Right now, Wei Jian's mind is completely unstable, and this whole dreamscape could collapse at any second. The sect master glares with pure hatred, while Qing Qi and Zhu Minglang cling to the collapsing cliff. Staring at the chaos, she desperately urges him to hurry up and ask for the critical info. If we die in this dream, our souls and cultivation get wrecked. Left with no choice, he acts. He yells out, "Spill everything you know right now because Master looks ready to literally end your life." Wei Jian turns completely pale. Shaking with absolute terror, he stammers, "I only collected the slow poison tea leaves. I never knew they were for you. It was all Hua Dongming's scheme to strike while you were weak and steal the cauldron pearl. But that tea will drain your lifespan." With a sudden jerk, all three fall into the empty void, barely escaping the collapsing dream to land safely. Panicking slightly, she quickly warns them he is about to wake up. "We need to get out of here." Zhu Minglang crosses his arms, shooting the guy an annoyed, judgmental look. Unbelievable. These two did not just steal, they actually poisoned him too. Nearby, Wei Jian frantically kowtows, screaming out, "Do not kill me, please spare my life." A moment later, he shivers and opens his eyes, a wave of cold, raw terror wrapping tightly around his chest. Why did I have a dream like that, he wonders. While Zhu Minglang just grins as if nothing happened. Zhu Minglang offers, "Oh, you are awake. Drink some hangover tea first, then I will take you home." Wei Jian quickly declines. "No need, martial uncle," he says, glancing over suspiciously before asking, "My tolerance is terrible. Did I babble any nonsense while I was knocked out?" Zhu Minglang plays totally dumb, casually replying, "Nope, not at all. I saw you were completely passed out, so I just let you sleep." Wei Jian frowns, immediately getting suspicious. He always talks in his sleep when drunk, which is why he never lets his guard down around others. Getting wasted today was a total accident, and he even dreamed about the old sect master. Does Zhu Minglang really know nothing, or is he just playing stupid? Raising his cup, he starts calculating his next move. If even a single detail about that year leaks out, he is completely doomed. He has to silence him, and fast. Soon, morning sunlight streams into the meeting hall. The Divine Lord sits in the center, announcing yesterday was all about breaking the ice so we can work together seamlessly from here on. He says this with a warm, gentle smile. Today we are gathered to discuss the death of the Quelang god. Saint Qi, the Dream Sect Master, please share your thoughts. Called upon, Saint Qi calmly steps forward to give his analysis. With the Quelang god dead, his territory is in total chaos. The Tianshu gods demand to know who the Godslayer is. As Mi Rong's master and a prophet, Saint Qi speaks. Unfortunately, my powers only allow me to divine one shocking fact. The killer is sitting right here in this room today. One young cultivator in the crowd instantly panics. Wait, the murderer is actually sitting among us. We have to find them immediately. A scarred warrior next to him scoffs, voicing his own opinion. That guy was pure evil, so who cares if he is dead? We should focus on who takes over his vacant seat. The man next to him shakes his head, arguing we cannot do that. We need to at least give his citizens a name to settle the chaos. Zhu Minglang furrows his brows, deep in serious thought. He never expected Mi Rong's master, Saint Qi, to divine this much. Even though Mi Rong knows he is the killer, she won't expose him. But what's the next play? Then, he catches Wei Jian staring right at him from across the table. Look at those eyes, he is definitely up to something. Qing Qi leans in from behind, whispering her suspicions. Ever since we escaped his dreamscape yesterday, that guy has been staring at you with the creepiest look. The scene shifts as Zhu Minglang spies from behind some bushes. In the distance, Wei Jian asks Palace Master Hua Dongming if he read the letter. Hua Dongming crosses his arms, cold and indifferent, replying, "I did." This Zhu Qingzhuo inherited his skills from Fan Guangzhong. Even if you didn't ramble while drunk, he most likely already knows something about the secret of the cauldron pearl. He cannot be kept alive. We must eliminate him immediately. Wei Jian grins, smoothly proposing a brand new idea. I have an idea, he says, his face darkening with sheer malice. Aren't they desperately hunting for the Kuelang God's killer? We can easily fake the Kuelang God's relic to frame him. That way, we keep our hands completely clean while giving the big boss, Hua Chu, a solid explanation. Eavesdropping from a distance, Zhu Minglang finally understands his motive. No wonder the guy was looking at him so weirdly. He was planning this frame-up. Hearing this brilliant plan, Hua Dongming is absolutely thrilled. Brilliant idea. I will lend you some illusion stones to fake the relics. Now go handle it. He cups his hands and barks out a respectful, clear response. Understood. Meanwhile, a smug, mocking smirk plays across Zhu Minglang's face. So you two really are Dongmin's lapdogs, trying to pin this on me. Well, looks like I need to strike first to take control. Footsteps approaching. Zhu Minglang acts totally shocked to see this guy standing right there inside his room. Jian, why are you here? He scratches his head, playing dumb with a flustered look. Uncle, most of those dragon soul pearls you wanted will take a few more days. But luckily, I just scored some top-tier goods today, so I rushed them right over. Zhu Minglang lightly takes the glowing blue pearl. Oh, thanks, he says, so I will just pay you the exact price we agreed on before. Handing it over, he spins to leave. If any more news pops up, I will find you again, Uncle. I will stop bothering you now. He shuts the door, and Zhu Minglang casually sits back down. Holding up a token carved with the word sparrow, he hands it over to Trung Trung, telling him to sneak this into Dongmin's room. Watching the little beast gloat, Zhu Minglang whispers to himself, trying to use a fake jade badge to frame me. Are you? Too bad, because I happen to hold the real deal. Nearby, a massive dragon breathes purple mist, quietly gathering its terrifying power. 3 days later, that dragon lets out a roar that sends the forest beasts scattering in pure panic. Standing high above, Dongmin wears a smug grin. This Haovu forest is a literal goldmine, packed with so many rare, wild, holy beasts. Right then, a freezing, authoritative voice echoes right behind him. And just like that, things get real. You are the murderer who killed Kuelang Shen. Whipping around in shock, he screams out, what did you say? Out of absolutely nowhere, Binglang stands there with a group of disciples. Someone tipped me off. They said you had relics from the Kuelang Shen temple. I searched your Famlong palace, and sure enough, they were right there. It is the Peak Master, Binglang. Dongmin frantically waves his hands, shamelessly denying it. This is definitely just a big misunderstanding. Our Famlong palace and your Chiudiu Peak have always lived in perfect peace, haven't we? To tell you the absolute truth, we only forged a few fake relics to frame that Lao Long sect master. But he slams a heavy cloth bundle onto the ground in absolute fury. Fake evidence? Look closely and tell me if these are real or fake. The moment Vijian sees that bag, his face goes completely pale. This is wrong. These real relics are not what I made. The ones I forged were cheap fakes. They have been swapped. Beside him, his master is just as utterly shocked. I only gave Vijian those illusion stones. Did Binglang murder the god himself just to make me his perfect scapegoat? While he climbs up to steal the vacant god throne for himself? He probably planted these on me. My only option now is to shift the blame. Pointing directly at his trusted disciple, he screams, Veijian, how dare you play these games behind my back? Your plan to forge those relics was just a lie so you could secretly hide the real evidence. Cornered and terrified, the disciple stammers out his defense. I didn't do it. I swear I know nothing about this. But Binglang grabs Dongmin by the collar, gritting his teeth. Do you think we are a bunch of absolute fools? This kid is just a weak demigod. How could he possibly kill a god and attack my sacred peak? Rumors say you have the proof right on your body. If you are innocent, let me search you. Hearing this, cold sweat breaks out on Dongmin's face. Here's the funny part, he actually grabbed those fake relics before leaving his room. What if they are real too? Shoving him away, Dongmin flatly refuses. I will not be searched, he snaps. Someone is clearly trying to frame me, but Binglang is not buying any of it. He barks out an order, grab them, our god will decide their guilt. Trapped, Dongmin has no choice but to summon an extremely powerful ancient dragon. Drawing his heaven-severing demon blade, Binglang sneers. So, you brought out the legendary Heavenly Emperor Ancient Dragon? Perfect. Let us see how your beast handles the taste of my demon blade. But instead of fighting, he uses the dragon to escape. This is getting way too messy, he thinks. Better to run now and hide until the heat dies down. See you later, Binglang. Veijian does not waste a second, summoning his own beast. Oh crap, he gasps. I need to run now. But with a single slash, Binglang decapitates the beast. Guess I will just lock you up first, he sneers. Meanwhile, Dongmin flies away, desperately plotting. With Veijian captured, I am totally compromised. My best bet is to find a real scapegoat and redeem myself. Suddenly, his eyes light up as he spots someone moving down below. And that person is none other than the main man himself, Zhu Minglang. Without a second thought, he pivots around. Since he is here, he thinks, I can just claim he was the one who dumped all these stolen relics onto me. Scheme set. Dongmin lands softly on the ground, calling out, Young Master Truck. I heard you are the brand new master of the Lao Long sect? He casually answers the man's question, saying yes. The very first thing I did after taking office was cleaning house and purging our sect of traitors. His eyes suddenly flash with a sharp glint as his entire face darkens. In Pham Quang Trong's final words, although he did not tell me to kill you, his end and the Lao Long sect's fate were definitely your doing. If I do not deal with a master-betraying traitor like you, I cannot establish my authority, and the Lao Long sect will just continue to be a joke. Hearing this, he throws his head back and laughs out loud. Who do you think you are, trying to face me alone? A gentle yet deeply contemptuous smile appears on the face of Zhu Minglang. I cannot really say what I am, but I know exactly what kind of trash you are. If I am not mistaken, you wanted to use the Tuek Lang God's relic to frame me. Otherwise, you wouldn't even bother greeting me. Having his scheme exposed like this makes cold sweat break out on Dongmin's cheeks. A sudden flash of panic rises deep within his heart. How on earth did he find out? He spreads his arms, looking completely carefree. Honestly, you have to love his confidence as he casually admits he is actually the killer who will frame you. Now that the relic is given away, I do not plan on taking it back. We might as well settle all our old and new scores right now. These words make Dongmin grit his teeth in pure rage, so he was the one who planted the relic. He was also the informant for the Ice Wolves. Without another thought, he immediately orders the Gulong accompanying him to move. Capture him right now. He is the killer. Once we capture him, I can finally obtain the location of the Tuek Lang God. Before it can strike, a sudden movement from behind makes the Gulong freeze. In front of it, a giant dragon with sharp horns and lethal talons pounces. In a mere split second, the Diem Vuong dragon slams its sharp claws deep into its opponent's long neck. Then, it bites directly into the Gulong's throat, sending blood spraying. Dongmin yells in utter panic, a Diem Vuong dragon. How can this kind of dragon serve a Dragonmaster? How is this possible? Quick, use Bloodburn. Just as he speaks, the Diem Vuong dragon tears away and swallows a chunk of flesh. Its freezing gaze locks onto them, furious rage bursting into visible flames. With an earth-shattering roar, the Diem Vuong dragon unleashes massive flames, burning the Gulong's body to a charred black crisp in seconds. Dongmin shivers in sheer terror as his dragon is instantly defeated. From afar, Zhu Minglang calmly issues his final order, finish him. The Diem Vuong dragon opens its jaws, blasting a wave of energy right at him. Zhu Minglang walks over, mocking him for his painfully slow reactions. Since I was bold enough to speak the truth, I have already decided to silence you forever. Once the body is completely reduced to ashes, Zhu Minglang spots something untouched by the flames and hesitates. This is a Qiangkun belt used for storing treasures. Apparently, it has spatial properties, holding a vast amount of things. Without waiting, Zhu Minglang quickly picks it up and claims ownership of the belt. He checks inside and finds piles of gold and silver, along with one particular item that makes him gasp. It's the Chu Ding. I finally found it. Zhu Minglang pulls the tripod out, smiling with satisfaction. This will be incredibly useful for raising my dragons. Now that the Lao Long sect drama is finally settled, we are heading straight into the next major mystery over at the Shenhu Manor. At Shenhu Manor, Wei Jian and his men are tied up, kneeling on the floor. Shenhu sighs deeply, saying the Shengzun only mentioned the killer was among us, yet you all rushed to throw blame, pointing fingers blindly, and managed to arrest a whole crowd of suspects in under a day. If word gets out, our Thianku divine realm will lose all face. Right then, a messenger rushes in to report. This is bad. The Pham Long Palace Master, Hoa Dongmin, was assassinated in Haovu Forest. The killer is unknown. Everyone in the room is utterly shocked by the news, crying out in unison, what? Meanwhile, the elders are discussing a pressing issue. This is terrifying. First it was the Tuek Lang God, and now the Pham Long Palace Master is dead. The killer must have planned all of this long ago. A scarred man calmly chips in, do not jump to wild conclusions. That Hoa Dongmin betrayed his master and his sect, so plenty of people probably wanted him dead anyway. We haven't conducted a proper investigation yet, so let us not rush. The elder sitting right next to him completely agrees with this. Exactly. He is likely just a victim of these people pointing fingers at each other. It has nothing to do with us. Shenhu glances at Shengzun, cautiously suggesting that while this matter is quite strange, there is no need for us to panic just yet. Since the Shengzun has already predicted the first killer's whereabouts, she can surely deduce the identity of the next one as well. She confidently reassures them all, yes, in just 2 days, I can definitely calculate the culprit. Suddenly, someone marches in from outside, yelling, by the time you actually figure it out, we will all be dead. Hoa Sung is incredibly frustrated by their slow pace, criticizing them sharply. This is clearly targeting our Hoa Ju Chen clan, especially since this tragedy took place right within your Swanga Divine Kingdom. Representing Thienshu Divine Marshal, I demand a clear, immediate explanation. Matt Dung quickly steps in to defuse the situation before things spiral, addressing him respectfully as Hoa Sung, Holy Lord of Tianshu. Lately, Sovereign Ji pried into heaven's secrets. She found nothing but a brutal backlash. Her body is pretty weak right now. She begs for some more time, but he coldly pushes her away with contempt. He sneers. Since when is it a little brat's turn to speak here? You have zero respect for gods, so prepare for a slap. Zhu Minglang steps in. He stands right in front of her, calling the man out. How is he a high god? He acts like a common bully. Besides, Sovereign Ji is still here, and this girl is her disciple. You should show her master some respect before trying to strike her. Mi Rong looks up, completely stunned to see him there. Sovereign Ji looks at her and asks in a gentle tone, Mi Rong, do you actually know this sect, Master Zhu? She does not dare hide anything and honestly replies, yes, you could say that. She explains that they met during her travels in the past, but she immediately starts worrying about her master's terrible health. Master, your health is not doing well today, so why don't I take you back to the manor first? But Sovereign Ji refuses. No need, since the holy leader of Tianshu Divine Marshal came all this way to ask. I will perform a divination right here to show sincerity. Standing with the crowd, her voice grows even softer. When Bing Ling brought in the suspect earlier, they handed over a relic of the Sparrow Wolf God, which will make this divination far more accurate. Check this out. Her eyes suddenly flash with brilliant gold as she starts her divine divination. Entering an illusionary realm, Sovereign Ji spots the majestic silhouette of a mysterious man. He is indeed a man, and his cultivation base has easily reached the level of a true god. Sensing her presence, he slowly turns his head around. Out of nowhere, the figure draws his sword and lunges straight at her. This sudden attack terrifies her. Seeing her master stumble backward in shock, Mi Rong cries out in a panic, Master, are you okay? With sweat dripping down her face, Sovereign Ji weakly gasps that the killer who took out the Sparrow Wolf God is a male swordsman from the extreme court. Later that night, she is soaking peacefully in the bath inside her own manor. Gently opening her eyes, Sovereign Ji looks at Mi Rong waiting outside and softly gives her a command. Mi Rong, go call the maids to help me change. Hearing this, she walks over and drapes a robe over her master. The maids are already asleep, so let me help you instead, she says, as Sovereign Ji puts on her clothes and gently gives her a warning. You really need to talk some sense into that friend of yours. He is far too upright and acts way too recklessly. The odds are already stacked against him, so if he keeps going out of his way to pick fights, he will only end up in serious danger. Hearing this, Mi Rong does not even look surprised as she softly asks, Master, did you already know the truth? Sovereign Ji looks quite worried as she admits, yes, I already know that the Sparrow Wolf God was looting and murdering. Hua Dongming betrayed his master and sect, and your friend did absolutely nothing wrong. But you really should have told me sooner. Since I run things here in the Xuanje Divine Kingdom, I could have easily dodged this whole mess if I had known. Mi Rong bows her head in shame, apologizing that it was all her fault for hiding it. Sovereign Ji pauses for a moment, looking toward the door. She quietly reminds her, for now, all the leaders have moved into our manor. We are just waiting for my health to improve a bit before explaining everything to them. Go find that friend of yours right now. Pass along my words, and tell him he must act with extreme caution, while I figure out a solution tomorrow. She softly whispers her agreement. Yes, she says. But right at that moment, a loud shout tears through the night, demanding Zhu Minglang to get out here. Hearing the commotion, Sovereign Ji quickly orders her. This is bad. Something is about to happen, so Mi Rong, come with me right now to check it out. Out in the inner courtyard of the manor, two figures stand facing each other as a crowd starts gathered, wondering what is going on. Why all the shouting in the middle of the night? Someone yells, I have asked around, and you are not even from Tianshu. You only became Lulong sect master by pure luck. It is highly likely you crossed over from the extreme court continent, meaning you are probably the real killer. But Zhu Minglang does not show a single hint of fear. Where is your actual proof? He asks. Even without evidence, you should at least have a logical reason before blindly accusing someone. Is this how you Tianshu divine martial experts usually operate? Hua Chong grips the whip in his hand tightly, completely set on his own theory. Do not get too cocky, kid, because once I make your life a living hell, you will happily tell me everything I want to know, he threatens as he swings his whip forward. But get this, Zhu Minglang casually summons his Yama dragon, telling it to play with this fool. The massive dragon slams its heavy foot down onto the courtyard ground, completely shocking Hua Chong, who immediately gasps at the sight of this legendary beast. To think this new sect master can actually control the Lord of the Dark Night is absolutely insane. No wonder he was chosen. No way he came from the resource-starved extreme court continent. I would never believe it. Arriving just in time to witness the brewing battle in the yard, Mi Rong and Sovereign Ji are filled with worry, wondering what on earth they should do. But before the battle can even begin, someone cuts in. She tells them to stop, saying she also came from Jiting and now works for the Xuanzhe Divine Kingdom. So why does it matter where he is from? His face simply cannot hide his sheer amusement. His wife Li Yunzi has just arrived with a majestic presence, making the deity sovereign gasp in shock at her arrival, recognizing her as the martial sage. The martial sage has brought deity sovereign Yuhui back to the divine capital. Zhu Minglang turns to her, utterly shocked that his wife is the martial sage, but she just calmly summarizes the whole situation for him. She explains that it is a long story while they were traveling. The goddess Xuanzhe noticed her and asked her to stay and help. Hua Chong cannot stomach this, instantly trying to drive a wedge by bringing up how Xuanzhe took them in back then, stating he already had serious objections back then, and asking if she is now determined to oppose their Tianshu Shenwu by shielding the killer of the Sparrow Wolf God and the Mortal Dragon Palace Master. But Li Yunzi does not raise her voice even once, calmly stating that he is her husband, so she must protect him. Besides, they have far more important matters to deal with right now, leaving no time to bicker over these old grudges. She announces a piece of news. The Lingxi continent has rebelled, a revelation that makes the deity sovereign widen his eyes in shock, questioning how such a thing is possible. Standing right behind her, Zhu Minglang whispers, asking his wife what exactly is going on with this Lingxi continent. She briefly explains the situation in the simplest way possible, noting that the Lingxi continent lies on the border of Xuanzhe and was conquered by Hua Chou. Though rebellions break out there constantly, Li Yunzi carefully looks around before adding more details. She says they somehow found a powerful expert who took down the main god of Tianshu, which is why Xuang is now helping to suppress this rebellion. And just like that, the puzzle pieces finally start falling into place. So that is it, he thinks to himself. Realizing they are just like Jiting, another victim of the evil Hua Chou, Li Yunzi then turns back to them, raising her voice to announce that her side has handled the rebels, but someone must negotiate with the rebel leader. After a moment of silence, he speaks up, but she gently places her hand on Zhu Minglang's shoulder, signaling she already knows. She wants him to go, but there is actually a hidden motive behind her decision. If her husband stays here, Hua Chu's people will surely target him, so she wants him to seize this chance and lay low for a while. Hua Chong is absolutely furious but helpless, pointing his finger directly at Zhu Minglang's face. He rants that the negotiator represents the pride of Tianshu, yet they are letting a criminal go. But Li Yunzi stands completely firm, explaining that the others simply do not trust him yet. If he can pull this off, and if he really is innocent, everyone's suspicion of him will naturally fade away. And if he actually did it, this is his chance to redeem his crimes. Right then, the deity sovereign also speaks up in agreement, stating that he finds this arrangement quite fair. With his own skills, aside from the Swordmaster's prophecy, it is indeed difficult to peek into any heavenly secrets regarding the killer. If Sect Master Zhu Minglang is truly on their side, he will surely fulfill this mission, which finally calms the older man down a bit. Agreeing, he wishes Sect Master Zhu Minglang good luck on this tough task, while silently gazing at the couple with hidden thoughts. Word is, the negotiation terms offered by Tianshu Shenwu to the Lingxi continent this time are unbelievably harsh. The messenger is highly likely to get executed by the rebels on the spot, and this woman clearly has no idea about the danger. Honestly, it looks like our main guy is walking straight into a death trap. The scene shifts to an open grassy field as Zhu Minglang tells his wife in deity sovereign song that this is far enough. Suddenly, an old man with a walking stick appears from behind, who turns out to be the negotiator sent from Tianshu. Zhu Minglang turns to bow to the old man and respectfully asks how he knows him, prompting the elder to remove his hat with joy in his eyes. He reveals he once fought alongside the martial sage and heard of his great reputation, never expecting to run into him here. He heard that her husband entered the Dragon Gate and even destroyed the physical body of the evil Hua Chou inside. With that, he suddenly drops to his knees before Zhu Minglang, thanking him as the savior of Lingxi, saying that without him, Hua Chou would have wiped them all out after returning from the Dragon Gate. But now, with his cultivation heavily damaged, the villain is forced to remain in secluded training. Zhu Minglang is completely flustered by this sudden wave of gratitude, quickly urging the old man to stand up. A warm and peaceful smile spreads across his handsome face as he tells him there is no need for such deep courtesy, because stopping the evil Hua Chou was simply his duty. Helping the elder up, the old man keeps praising Zhu Minglang's righteousness, saying it is no wonder the martial sage holds him in such high regard. He grins widely, unable to hide his happiness, joking that he cannot possibly afford to drag down his incredible wife. The old man gestures toward a nearby table, showing deep respect for this negotiator, who is hailed as the savior of the entire Lingxi continent. Come here, my young friend Zhu Qingzuo. Let's all have a drink and not go home until we are completely drunk. By evening, Yunzi and her companion go to Minglang and ask how the negotiations went. Without even turning around, he simply replies, "Everything is settled. Their leader agreed to help our great Tianshu by personally leading their army to wipe out our rival continents." Marquis Shenhao cannot hide his shock, his eyes instantly widening. What? Aren't they supposed to be our enemies on that rival continent? You actually got them to accept our terms? He turns around, a smug, self-satisfied grin spreading across his face. Not yet. But I have a much better idea. Instead of turning them into slaves, let's use them as cannon fodder on the battlefield. After all, the number of continents deity Huaqiu wants to conquer is massive. We just need to let them lead the charge. The military strength of the Lingxi continent is incredibly strong. Hearing this, he grows quite worried. Will they truly agree to be meat shields? Do you think they really can't tell we are just using them as our tools? Minglang goes on to explain his plan in much deeper detail, saying they just need to negotiate with their leader one more time. Great Tianshu must offer them some decent benefits. At least, allow their army free passage so we can easily deploy them to other battlefields. Hearing this, he immediately gives Minglang a thumbs up. True, instead of fighting them, it is far better to let them tear each other apart. Sect Master Zhu really is an absolute genius at negotiating. Yunzi, standing nearby, finally speaks up and asks if drinking was fun. He answers confidently with excitement, saying it was great. I even scored some pretty sweet spiritual fruits. He pulls out a few green fruits, presenting them to her. Luckily, I have my dear wife, or staying here would be impossible. With a gentle smile, she replies, I do not blame you. After all, we are both fighting Huaqiu. I only managed to get here because of my destiny with Xuange. Hearing this, Minglang's face instantly tightens. Will she stand with us, or choose to side with Huaqiu? Yunzi herself is not completely sure about the details, admitting she does not know. But that does not really matter. Once your godhood is fully restored, the entire divine province will undergo a massive reorganization. I heard rumors that the 7-star gods' rule will soon expand, transforming into a council of 9-star gods. Pausing briefly, she shares her careful speculation that deity Xuange desperately wants to secure that 8th star god position. That is why she authorized me, letting me help her fight this war. As for that final 9th star god seat, we either need to align with a reliable candidate to balance Huaqiu. Yunzi looks at him with eyes full of deep regret, suggesting that his other option is to go seize that seat for himself. He is completely blown away by this, asking his wife to repeat herself. You are not joking, right? Let me go? Later, Minglang stands before the elders, cupping his hands to report his success with the Lingxi continent leader. He has officially agreed to help Great Tianshu conquer all the surrounding territories near the God Marquis mansion. Saint Lord Shengzong looks at him, unable to hide a deeply relieved smile. Sect Master Zhu has officially redeemed himself with this victory. While we can let past matters slide, we truly hope you will work with extreme caution and arrange everything perfectly. He bows his head in deep respect, expressing his gratitude to Shengzong and promising to keep those wise words in mind. Right at that moment, Xuange walks in from the outside, asking how the meeting is going. Instantly, everyone in the hall bows and shouts in unison, paying their utmost respects to deity Xuange. Yunzi steps forward with absolute confidence, loudly reporting that she has completely pacified the Lingxi continent. My husband also successfully negotiated a deal with their leadership. They will do everything they can to support us. Xuange smiles in sheer relief, praising their work. Shengzong becomes noticeably more respectful upon seeing her. He admits that their side has not made any significant progress yet. All clues clearly point straight to the culprit, but someone is desperately trying to shield them. Xuange raises her hand, signaling him to stop speaking. Let us leave this matter for another day. Right now, Tianshu must stay united, as we cannot allow other realms to find our weakness. With those words, Xuange sweeps her gaze across the entire Grand Hall. Representatives from the Beidou 7 states will gather here very soon. They will decide on the selection of the new star gods. At that point, we can fully discuss our ultimate grand plan. Hearing this, the crowd shouts back in agreement. Just then, an envoy bursts through the doors, looking incredibly rushed. Are they dispersing already? We still have unfinished business. Hua Chong turns to Bing Lang, giving him a quiet, stern command. He orders him to speak. Without a single moment of hesitation, Bing Lang immediately spills all the information he has. While investigating the sudden destruction of Hong Tianfeng and He Tianfeng, we unexpectedly found traces of the Yanwang dragon. As far as I know, the only person in Tianshu who owns such a dragon is Zhu Qingzhuo of the Lulong sect. His expression instantly turns furious. It really is him again. Deity Kuailang and Hua Dongming must have fallen by his hands as well. To make matters worse, his wife, the martial saint, is currently serving deity Xuange and has earned her absolute trust. We cannot find any other weaknesses on him yet, so we should not raise any alarms too early. Pointing off into the distance, he lowers his voice to a whisper. I will secretly report this to my god Zhao Yao, while you keep on tracking him. Bing Lang asks no questions, only giving a brief, clear nod. Back at Hashan Courtyard, Zhu Minglang scratches his head with an embarrassed laugh. He happily tells his wife that he already spoke with Nianian, arguing that since they finally reunited after so much struggle, A grand celebration is absolutely in order. Word is that Lady Lingsa is apparently returning today too. But turning around, he finds Li Yunzi blushing deeply, already transformed into the star-painting spirit. When she softly calls him her lord, he struggles to process it, looking at her with doubt. Quickly shaking off his confusion, Zhu Minglang flashes a warm smile and asks, "I heard you were asleep for a long time. Are you feeling better now?" She answers in a soft, cautious whisper, "I am fine, though honestly, I feel like I should not have woken up just yet. If only my older sister had fallen asleep a bit later." God Xuanga valued her unique abilities, which is exactly why he allowed us to remain in this place. I am just worried that I cannot shoulder this heavy responsibility. Understanding her anxiety completely, Zhu Minglang quickly offers some comfort. "Do not worry. I already convinced Linshi Continent to send their armies to aid us. Lady Lingsa will be back soon as well, so you only need to speak for Li Yunzi while we handle everything else." After a brief hesitation, Xinghua gathers her courage to ask Master, "Is your true divine title actually Fu Chen?" Zhu Minglang places his hands on his hips and confidently nods. "Yes." Hearing this, her beautiful face instantly clouds over with deep anxiety and dread. "Master, you were entrusted with Fu Shen's divine name and led here. There must be an invisible hand guiding all of this. I highly suspect that among the current star gods and candidates, the killer who murdered the previous Fu Shen is hiding." Now this is where things get seriously intense. Zhu Minglang is completely stunned. Is that so? He wonders, could the destiny the heavens gave me actually be about revenge? She nods, confirming his darkest thoughts. Exactly. The title of Fu Shen holds an incredibly high status, and your authority is exceptionally unique. This is likely a grand trial sent by the heavens. If you succeed, you will become an absolutely unshakable force across the entire Beidou divine territory. Determination burns in Zhu Minglang's eyes as he resolves to complete this mission with everything he's got. Soon, the sky turns a dull, gloomy gray, and a chilling silence blankets the courtyard as two mysterious figures quietly step inside. Xinghua looks up at a glowing red star, her voice laced with heavy concern. The Fu Shen star is flashing with a bloody light, warning of an upcoming disaster. "Master, be careful," she warns, just as thick white smoke suddenly erupts out of nowhere. His eyes go razor-sharp as he demands to know who is there, right as Hua Chong and Bing Lang step through the haze with sinister grins. "Sect Master Zhu, we meet again," they sneer. But Zhu Minglang just looks at them coldly, asking what they are blabbering about. He demands to know what they want, but Hua Chong cuts him off, listing every single dirty deed Zhu Minglang has pulled. "My god, Zhao Yao already knows everything. Just wait until this star selection is over. He will make you pay for your crimes in blood, so you might as well prepare your neck." Despite their crushing pressure, Zhu Minglang refuses to back down. "Those are pretty empty threats. Is that all you have got?" Zhu Minglang retorts, while Hua Chong just smirks with amusement. "Do not think God Xuanga will keep protecting you forever, because when the dust settles, she will still stand with us. Soon, every sect master in Tianshu will be sent to support different gods. And guess what? Your assigned target is none other than Mingmeng. Just look at his face, his eyes go wide because he knows this name means trouble. I only came to deliver the message, nothing more. Sectmaster Zhu, deal with it." Left behind, Zhu Minglang spirals into complete and utter confusion. Support Mingmeng? No way. Isn't that the very deity worshipped by the Ming god clan? Talk about a cruel twist of fate. Zhu Minglang lowers his head, pondering Hua Chong's move. Sending me to Mingmeng must have had God Xuanjie's approval. But do they actually know about my grudge with the Ming god clan? Not a chance, Xinghua replies. He could never trace our real identities. The only reason he is throwing us at Mingmeng is because that guy is currently the absolute biggest headache for the Xuange kingdom. She quickly breaks down the truth about this dangerous figure named Mingmeng. Mingmeng is incredibly arrogant. His army was crushed by my older sister in the past, but nobody expected him to become a 9-star god candidate. God Xuange can't control him and can only negotiate, but with his violent temper, the chances of making a deal are practically zero. Zhu Minglang turns to her as the puzzle pieces fall into place. "If you go in Li Yunzi's place to meet a monster like him, you'll be in grave danger." Just then, Lingsa arrives with a bright, cheerful expression, calling out to ask if everyone is gathered here. She brags about her perfect timing, while Zhu Minglang stands there utterly shocked to see Lady Lingsa back so soon. Anxiety is written all over Zhu Minglang's face, his voice urgent as he says, "I need a favor." Li Yunzi has switched back to Tin Hoa. Since she is the one heading to the negotiations with Minman, she cuts him off, already understanding everything before he can even finish his sentence. She says, "I already heard about Minman, so I will handle it. Nothing could be better." Zhu Minglang quickly replies, "Thank you." The scene shifts to the deep forest, where they meet Minman. He stands with one hand on his hip, eyes narrowed as he sizes them up. He sneers, "Tell Xuange, those negotiators who came over here, if she agrees to hand over the Tuak Lang god's territory to me, I will not start any wars with the Xuange Divine Kingdom for 3 years." Acting as Li Yunzi, the spirit Dragonmaster Nanlingsha coldly crosses her arms and fires back your succession as the Tuok Lang god is not even official, so why should we hand this land over to you? He is taken aback by her fierce pushback. Shouting out what? Min Man keeps his arrogant tone, saying my terms are already generous, so do not push your luck. Even so, she remains completely unmoved and refuses to back down. You are the losers here. If Goddess Xuanjie had not summoned us back, Lord Kim Hui would have already crushed your tribe's massive city into dust. You did not bring any real offers to impress us, yet you demand things here. Talk about a powerhouse, even Zhu Minglang is totally surprised by Nanlingsha's sharp attitude. His sister-in-law is pretty fierce, not losing to his wife at all. Meanwhile, hearing these words, Min Man gets absolutely furious. He snarls Li Yunzi, it seems we have nothing to talk about. Right then, a blinding golden light erupts across the sky. Zhu Minglang quickly steps in front to shield her. Looking up at the brilliant light in the heavens, Min Man mutters to himself, this kid's divine pressure actually surpasses my own. He is definitely not just some low-level godchild. Pointing directly at Zhu Minglang, Min Man demands to know. He barks, who on earth are you? But Zhu Minglang does not answer his question right away. He smiles knowingly, replying who I am does not matter. What matters is that I was prepared for this. I heard you like hurting people during negotiations, or even taking messengers hostage. But too bad for you, times have changed now. That old trick of yours will not work anymore. Finding this hard to swallow, Min Man turns his back, ending the talk right there. He sneers, is this the attitude of your Swan-Ge divine kingdom? I will remember this, do not blame me for being ruthless later. As the man leaves, Zhu Minglang turns to Nanlingsha with a frown, asking, did you get the feeling that his demand was just some casual excuse? Once we rejected it, he did not even try to negotiate further. It is like he never wanted a deal from the start, and even she senses something is wrong. And you know what? Peace was just a cover, he has a different goal. With the meeting over, she has other urgent business to attend to. Since the talk failed, I will report to Xuan-Ge on behalf of my sister. Go discuss with Tin Hoa and figure out our next move. He quickly agrees to this plan, saying, all right, contact me as soon as you have any updates. The moment he returns, Tin Hoa quickly rushes over to ask young master, how did the talks with Min Man go? Zhu Minglang calmly breaks down the whole story, explaining that the negotiation failed completely. Right away, he demanded the Tuok Lang god's territory, even though he must have known that neither Xuan-Ge nor we would ever agree to that, making the whole meeting a complete joke. Standing in the courtyard, her eyes widen with deep concern. During this 7 Stars of Beidou conference, Xuan-Ge's allies can enter the divine capital, while their enemies are forced to camp outside. Even though the talks failed, as a visiting representative, Min Man can still stay in the divine capital for a while, meaning he definitely has a hidden agenda. He looks up at the dark clouds gathering around a bright star. Zhu Minglang asks if she can predict his next move, and she confidently replies, yes, I can. His star is extremely dim and radiates a sinister energy, suggesting he is plagued by an inner demon. I suspect this demon is directly tied to his weapon. Pausing for a moment, Tin Hoa recalls the weapon Min Man usually carries. If I remember correctly, his blade is likely the La Chi Vu Dragon Tooth Blade, a weapon that possesses its own spiritual energy, very similar to the Blood Jade Sword. Zhu Minglang rests his chin in thought, admitting that her words remind him of something. Neither Nanlingsha nor I saw him carrying his blade today, meaning there is definitely something wrong. But how does this weapon issue connect to his inner demon and his goals here? She raises a finger, a knowing smile playing on her lips. Based on my deduction, the blade is no longer obeying him, and he has completely lost the ability to wield it. This loss of control became his inner demon, and he likely came here to fix it. With this hint, all the pieces finally click for Zhu Minglang. No wonder he looked so intimidating but hesitated to actually make a move. The man is suffering from a major weapon malfunction. Tin Hoa makes sure to add a crucial piece of advice regarding the situation. We should keep a very close eye on Min Man to see how he tries to fix his blade. If his plans threaten us, we will need to step in immediately. In response, Zhu Minglang confidently tells her it is no problem. Then, as if remembering something, she adds, oh right, before my big sister fell into her deep sleep, she left a message. If Min Man clashes with the other gods of Tiangsu, we can use that chance to completely wipe him out. This will boost our reputation in Tiangsu, helping you claim the position of Star God. A relieved smile spreads across his handsome face. He never expected his wife to plan so far ahead, so he definitely needs to prepare himself well too. Meanwhile, at the temple of the god Min Man, a subordinate kneels down to report that their troops are now fully deployed and ready. Min Man frowns deeply. He is fully resolved now. Good. If negotiations fail, do not blame me for stealing it. Over at the pavilion, Xuan-Ge is relaxing while his servants attend to him, when a sudden earthquake cracks the floor wide open. He clearly sealed the ancient profound weapon deep inside his temple. So why is it acting up right now? Suddenly, a maid rushes over in a panic. yelling that Lord Xuange is in trouble because Minmon has surrounded the temple with his saber army. She freezes. She cannot believe her own ears. Outside the Xuange temple, Minmon is actively setting up his combat formation. Watching from a safe distance, Zhu Minglang mutters to himself, "Unbelievable. He went to all this trouble just to rob the temple of Lady Tinhua's treasures? Now you have to wonder what kind of sealed weapon is worth all this insane effort from a god." Sitting beside him, Tinhua explains that it is an ancient profound weapon stained with giant blood, releasing deadly negative energy every night. Right now, only Xuange can suppress it. Minmon likely wants to refine it to feed his saber spirit, keeping the beast under his control. Hearing this, he instantly grasps the main point. This means the guy is desperate. He tells Nan Lingsha to escort Tinhua away while he tests his opponent. Turning around, a smirk appears on Zhu Minglang's face. Creeping up behind him, he asks why he's acting like a child. He openly mocks him for failing a simple negotiation and resorting to stealing like a common thief. Minmon snaps. "It is you again, brat. Yesterday I spared you out of respect for Xuange, but since you are determined to ruin my plans today, you will not leave here alive." He remains calm. Instead, he summons his main pet. "We will see who actually walks away alive. Go get them, Hacknya." With a single breath, the dragon leaves the enemy soldiers screaming in agony. Cowardly dragon tamers, always hiding behind their beasts to fight. Suddenly, he grabs a command flag to summon his own beast. "Let's see how it matches up to your dragon." He slams the flag down, stalling for time. With the reinforcements and his inside contact still missing, he will have to rely on this beast to buy him some time. A blazing crimson light shoots straight into the heavens, illuminating the entire sky. A voice demands who summoned them, and Minmon yells back, "Kill the dragon tamer and his beasts." Ma Jiaqian emerges from the clouds, demanding a sacrifice of 1 million livestock in exchange for this favor. He agrees. Desperate, he pays the steep price. Look at that raw power. The massive beast takes flight and completely shatters the heavy entrance gate with a single strike. The sheer noise forces Hakna to cover his ears, before getting hit by a painful horn strike. He laughs mockingly, telling him to play his final trump card. In a flash, Bai Qi emerges with wings wide open. Gritting its teeth, the beast struggles against the freezing ice magic, pinning it down. "How dare you freeze me!" A massive explosion shakes the area as dirt and rocks fly everywhere. Bai Qi roars loudly, sending sharp ice shards flying straight into Minmon. Clutching his chest, he drops to his knees, gasping for breath, demanding to know who this kid is. Lifting his chin, the boy looks down coldly and calls him a coward who only targets the weak while fearing Xuange. "You are weak. Just a bully targeting the soft. I am just a passing traveler delivering some divine justice." He lets out a mocking laugh. No matter how this world changes, the strong will always rule while the weak are destined to perish like autumn leaves. Minman draws his flaming blade and lunges forward. Strange. Since he never tamed the saber spirit, he shouldn't even be able to wield that dragon saber. What on earth is that weapon in his hand? Could it be? Zhu Minglang dodges the razor-sharp sword strikes, each blade slamming into the dirt and throwing wild sparks. Right then, a massive wave of sword intent suddenly manifests, completely surrounding Minmon. "Dragonmaster, you stand zero chance of winning, so just give up your life." Shock washes over Zhu Minglang's face. That is a legendary ancient weapon, and it actually got summoned. Now Minmon stands directly across from Zhu Minglang, surrounded by countless razor-sharp blades hovering in the air, ready to rain down. Suddenly, the older man speaks up. "That is right. If it were not for this ancient temple weapon, I would not have even bothered coming here." A second later, he roars out with a face twisted in absolute fury. "My blade spirit will devour it soon enough, and I will finally become the strongest god in this entire land." In a flash, those sharp blades rain down at a blinding speed. But in a mere split second, a surge of dark smoke completely shatters them all into countless tiny fragments, neutralizing the entire attack. Witnessing this bizarre turn of events, Minmon wears a highly sinister smirk on his face. Dark smoke quickly wraps around his body. Suddenly, Zhu Minglang stands opposite him, casually waving his hand to the side as he calmly issues an order. And here is where it gets crazy. The moment he calls out Mo Xie, a massive dragon erupts from the shadows behind him. Just like that, Minmon has to exert a massive amount of effort just to deal with this strange beast. He instinctively calls out with a sneering tone, "Dragonmaster, how pathetic of you. You hide behind your own dragon, so how could you ever be a worthy opponent for me?" By now, Zhu Minglang starts sensing something quite off about the situation. He grits his teeth, muttering that this is bad. Yet, almost instantly, he regains his composure and manifests a glowing golden blade of light right in front of him. "I let my dragon fight you alone because I trust them and want to give them a real chance to train." After all, in a mere moment, Zhu Minglang's entire body gets covered in strange mystical tattoos, marking him as a true sword cultivator. Once again, a legion of sharp blades floats menacingly in the air around him. But this time, they bear strange engravings, the heavenly forged myriad ancient dragon sword. This sight completely stuns Min Man, leaving him jaw-dropped in absolute disbelief. He instinctively shrieks out, "What on earth is that?" Before he can even process it, two massive forces collide with terrifying power, unleashing an incredibly violent shockwave across the area. In the end, Min Man cannot withstand that overwhelming pressure. He gets sent flying backward, landing in a totally pathetic heap. Meanwhile, Zhu Minglang stands on the opposite side, staring down at him with a chilling, cold gaze. He slowly speaks, "Min Man, you are too arrogant, foolishly trying to force the colonial people under your rule while coveting the legendary ancient weapon. But since your deeds are not quite unforgivable crimes, I will spare your life. However, I still have to teach you a very painful lesson." Those heavy words leave his opponent completely shell-shocked. He mutters to himself in disbelief, "How can this be possible? I am clearly a true deity now. But why do I feel like a lowly sinner just looking at him? Who exactly is this guy?" Before he can even finish that thought, Zhu Minglang unleashes a pretty devastating final blow, sending Min Man crashing heavily far into the distance. Even his sword gets blasted high into the sky. Suddenly, a brilliant red dragon manifests, looking incredibly majestic and powerful. Meanwhile, Zhu Minglang just stands there looking quite thoughtful. He calmly watches the massive vortex of swirling power. And check this out, he grips his weapon tight, a pretty excited grin spreading across his face. "Fantastic, Moshi. You actually managed to devour the dragon tooth blade, which had already refined the ancient weapon." His deep, commanding voice echoes clearly through the entire space. "Capture him right now. Hand him over to Xuanja." The moment those words land, Zhu Minglang's subordinates quickly acknowledge the order. Soon after, Zhu Minglang brings the captured captive into an ancestral hall. People nearby cannot help but mock him, gossiping about how this arrogant god got dragged in like a common thief. Sectmaster Truck is truly incredible. His future is so bright, and ascending to a true god rank will be a piece of cake. Hearing the praise, Zhu Minglang bows respectfully and speaks, "Xuanga, please decide his fate." His respectful words plunge the mighty deity Xuanga into deep thought. After a long pause, she slowly delivers her verdict, temporarily lock Min Man away inside the purple bronze palace. Once the ritual of the flower sheep ends, his final judgment will be decided. Hearing this, a nearby elder quickly objects. "Lady Xuange, Sectmaster Truk went through so much to catch him. Why not just execute him now? We must avoid any future trouble. How can we be so reckless?" Another voice counters Lady Xuan. Ge surely has her own reasons for this. Watching this lively, chaotic debate unfold, a quiet thought suddenly crosses Zhu Minglang's mind. Xuanga is holding back out of respect for the flower sheep, proving there is a pretty deep connection between them. Either way, it does not really matter to him, as this is just a perfect opportunity to build up his own reputation. Suddenly, Xuanga calls out from across the room, snapping him out of his thoughts. "Sectmaster Truk, you kept the order in Tianshu and achieved great merit, so I must reward you," she says. "Every year I read the Thithurng Thianko once, and if you want to know its secrets, I will tell you privately." Hearing this, Zhu Minglang quickly bows and thanks Goddess Huiyanqua, while the bald elder sitting nearby suddenly looks deeply lost in thought. He mutters to himself that the Thithurng Thianko is indeed the ultimate supreme technique. Since Goddess Huiyanqua is willing to share this with Sectmaster Truk, she clearly treats him as her own. "Congratulations," the elder says, as others quickly chime in. With her guidance, Sectmaster Truk will soon surpass Min Marn, and might even become a strong candidate for the Kutin Thun. Right after that, Goddess Huiyanqua steps down from her throne. She slowly walks forward and speaks in a gentle voice. "Li Yunzi has fought for me for so long, and she is finally resting to recover now. So, I am rewarding her with this Van Fong cloak, which is extremely light yet incredibly durable, making it an excellent magical treasure." Zhu Minglang immediately bows with deep respect in that case. "I will gladly accept and thank Goddess Huiyanqua on behalf of my wife." But suddenly, he notices something extremely off, as a strange mark on Goddess Huiyanqua's neck completely locks him in deep thought. Even though he has never seen that mark on her neck before, it feels incredibly familiar, leaving him wondering what is going on. Night soon blankets the entire Hassan courtyard, and Zhu Minglang finally drifts off into a deep, peaceful sleep. Inside his dream, he finds himself face to face with a mysterious figure and says, "We meet again, and we still have unfinished business. You mentioned my Thun Min Dirn is located at Longveer Sun, so can you tell me exactly where to find it?" The mysterious figure responds immediately, speaking in a very deep and calm voice. "Longveer Sun sits right at the border of Tien Shu and Garquan, but it is hidden in the void, meaning outsiders cannot find it without the Mai Deen mark. But since you are the new deity, you are bound to see this mark sooner or later," and hearing these words makes Zhu Minglang gasp in absolute shock. "The Mai Deen mark," he mutters, and seeing his panic, Feng Huang quickly explains that it is just like the mark on her own shoulder, meaning anyone carrying it must worship Fork Thun. Zhu Minglang suddenly remembers the exact mark he just saw on Goddess Huiyanhua, making him ask in total disbelief, what is going on here? Is that really the same mark he saw on Goddess Huiyanhua, even though we know she supposedly destroyed that Mai Dane mark? Could she have been aligned with Fork Thun in the past, only to leave or completely betray them later on? He stands there in his dream, filled with endless questions. Please help me investigate if the previous Fork Thun made covenants with other deities, or if any current gods used to worship at Longveer Sun and then mysteriously abandoned it. But Feng Huang can only respond with a helpless look. I am sorry, my lord, but those events happened over 10,000 years ago, so I do not know. Besides, I can only manifest inside your dream for a brief moment. So I cannot give you any more details, she says, leaving Zhu Minglang completely lost in his thoughts. It seems this is not just a random dream, but his worshipper using dreams to deliver crucial information. Now he must keep a very close eye on Goddess Huiyanhua, as she might be directly linked to the previous Fork Thun's departure. 3 days later, he stands respectfully before Goddess Huiyanhua and asks, what is the reason you have summoned me here, Goddess? Hearing this, she immediately gets straight to the point. Tomorrow, I want you to act as my trusted confidant and accompany me to the final grand assembly of all gods in Kuchao. I was just elevated to the 8th star god yesterday, so my foundation is not quite stable yet. This critical gathering will serve as my very first test after taking this high office, she explains, which immediately leaves Zhu Minglang completely stunned for a moment. Congratulations, Goddess Huiyanhua, but I still do not understand. Since there are so many powerful gods in Tianshu with incredible abilities, why would you choose a completely idle person like me to be your trusted confidant? But in response, her face suddenly turns incredibly cold and grim. After all, you defeated Minmarn, giving me great prestige among the Bukdo star gods. Plus, Li Yunzi has helped me for years, she says, a satisfied smile playing on her lips. I have already heard Chi Thon Tone discuss your mysterious background, and seeing the sword technique you used to defeat Minmarn that day, I can easily deduce that you are the one who killed Kuei Longshen. Hearing this shocking accusation, Zhu Minglang cannot hide his panic, his eyes instantly widening in sheer disbelief. Meanwhile, she slowly approaches him with a calm smile. There is no need to be so tense. I have already heard about everything Kuei Longshen did, and he simply got what he deserved. Now that I am the 8th star god, as long as you stay by my side, Howaku will not dare touch you, and I will even convince him to overlook your past actions. Zhu Minglang can only praise her in his mind, thinking well played, goddess. Xuanga is clearly a master of schemes on the surface. She claims to protect me, but she is actually using me as leverage to pave her own path. Suddenly, Xuanga steps right up to him and whispers, tell me, what god title do you want, because I can easily bestow it upon you. Even so, he smoothly declines her offer. No need, he says, serving a wise Beidou star god like you is already the greatest honor for Master Zhu. Time flies, and soon the star gods of the 9 prefectures gather. A gentle-looking goddess sits there with a quiet grace. She calmly addresses the crowd, everyone. While patrolling the borders of the Yuheng and Tianyu realms today, I found their collision has forced open a mysterious gate. This speaker is none other than Lu Wu, the Yuheng star god, and her gentle voice echoes softly throughout the grand hall. She continues inside that gate. I found all sorts of ancient mythical beasts. Without divine generals, confronting them head-on is basically impossible. Hearing this, Minglang cannot help but feel shocked as he sinks into a deep, quiet contemplation. Why does this sound exactly like the Dragon Gate? Mythical beasts like the Thunder Dragon and Rain Immortal are ancient creatures from the dawn of creation. On top of that, even cultivators with lower power can somehow pass through this mysterious gate. Maybe it is just a major upgrade. Meanwhile, Lu Wu continues explaining that these ancient beasts possess highly unique and dangerous abilities. They can command great monster gods, grand archdemons, night emperors, and much more. Even wicked dragons in the demon forests are under their sway, causing endless disasters and leaving innocent people to suffer in chaos. The moment she stops speaking, a young man across the room chimes in. That is Su Zhuan, the brilliant Tianji star god. Since our Beidou divine continent was just born, we high gods cannot shirk our heavy responsibility. We must wipe them out in one go, he says. Yet Lu Wu looks deeply pensive as she asks, can these ancient beasts really control the wind and rain? Wherever the green rain falls, these ancient beasts always leave their tracks. Therefore, I will issue an order to recruit the top leaders of Tianshu to support everyone in defeating these dangerous creatures. Hearing her request, Su Zhuan does not hesitate for a second before making a quick decision. Sounds good, thanks. Not only that, but he also cleverly turns the situation around. And here's the kicker, any star god who performs exceptionally well on this mission gets to peek into the highest secrets of heaven. As for the other deities, they will earn the chance to claim the legendary 9th star god position later. This completely shocks Minglang as he thinks to himself to think there is a real chance to become the 9th star god. This mission is clearly a big deal, and he absolutely must seize this opportunity. After the meeting ends, a heavy and chilling silence still fills the air. Minglang slips away, casually walking over to two familiar faces before speaking up. "You two are here too," he asks, and hearing his voice, Wu Xiao quickly responds. "So you are Master Zhu," he says, prompting Minglang to ask, "I already know Fairy Linghu, but what about you? What kind of god are you anyway?" Wu Xiao explains, "I am the Calm Dao god, managing all mortal cultivation paths in the Beidou Divine Continent, basically the leader of all cultivators." With a gleam in his eyes, Wu Xiao enthusiastically adds, "But you have climbed even higher than me. Your status must be pretty insane, right?" But Minglang just plays mysterious and immediately shuts him down. "Some secrets of heaven cannot be revealed," he says. And his mysterious response leaves everyone absolutely stunned. Everyone begins whispering in confusion, why is he always like this? Keeping everything a secret and refusing to even share his divine name. True, but since he gets to stand right next to Xuan Ge, he must be incredibly powerful. Suddenly, Xuan Ge glides over with effortless grace and casually addresses him, "Sect Master Zhu. I am heading out to battle with some star gods, so you should find some allies too, as we leave in a few days." "Sounds good," Minglang replies without a single second of hesitation, but inside his mind, a swarm of suspicious thoughts immediately begins to build up. Something is definitely off here. Xuan Ge brought him all this way, but now she is completely refusing to move together. Xuan Ge speaks in a slow, firm voice, "Sect Master Zhu, the reason I cannot let you join is because the deeper we go, the more vicious those ancient beasts inside the gate become. We star gods must venture into the absolute deepest areas, so staying on the outside is much safer for you." Hearing this, Minglang clasped his hands and bows with deep respect. "Thanks for the concern, Xuanje. I wish you a successful campaign," he says, but his gaze darkens as his mind races. He has no idea if she is telling the truth, or if she just wants to stop him from earning any credit here. That way, he would never escape her control. Still, since they both suspect each other, separating might actually be the best move. Minglang keeps his face totally calm and unbothered. "I plan to form a team to hunt these ancient beasts, and since we already know each other, how about we team up?" Ngo Tia raises an eyebrow, sneering. "What a joke. Inside Longmon was one thing. To build an epic legacy, I must go with Master and my martial brothers. Even if I want to, Master won't take me." He turns his gaze toward Linghu and lowers his voice, asking her to wait for him at the Hasan half-courtyard when departure day comes. She smiles and readily agrees. But here is the real drama a bit later at Duangtruk. Nan Lingsha glares at them with deep, clear annoyance. What is this woman's background? Zhu Minglang remains completely calm, slowly replying that she is Lady Linghu whom he met inside the Long Monday. His eyes waver slightly with a hint of confusion, asking Nan Lingsha what exactly happened between the two of them. Linghu speaks calmly, her gentle voice suggesting that the girl has probably misunderstood. "Young Master Truck and I are just fellow cultivators helping each other out. This time, we are joining forces to hunt down the Huyen Ko species." Hearing this, she slightly frowns, her lips curling into a mocking smile as she says she needs to come along to truly believe it. Zhu Minglang clears his throat. Awkward. His hesitant voice reveals his immense embarrassment. "Nan Lingsha, this operation was arranged during the Big Dipper meeting, so your sudden participation leaves me clueless on how to explain it to Xuan Gathan." Nan Lingsha's eyes darken as a flash of determination shows, deciding she will just follow them silently from the shadows to stay out of sight. She crosses her arms and lifts her chin with a proud, decisive shrug, saying she does not care since her conscience is perfectly clear. Zhu Minglang stands up and rubs his forehead with an exhausted sigh, agreeing that Nan Lingsha can tag along with them, but she must avoid being spotted. Other deities on this hunt cannot know. Otherwise, I might be labeled a greedy opportunist desperate to grab a 9-star god seat. Between my sister-in-law and Lady Linghu, none of these ladies are easy to deal with, so this is our only option. From behind, Linghu's slow voice drifts over, her tone sounding far more serious now. "My master told me we must eliminate some of the ancient Huyen Ko beasts escaping around the gate. Apparently, they carry bronze shards in their bodies, and fusing these fragments into a key will allow us to unlock the gate's outer perimeter." Zhu Minglang nods in understanding, but his eyes suddenly turn suspicious as he spots a winged shadow gliding past, demanding to know what it is, prompting her to explain. "That is the Bok Trok crow, another Huyen Ko species. We can track down the ancient beasts through it, so we must give chase immediately." The bird soars high, drawing a silver streak across the gray sky. The ground suddenly trembles as a dark silhouette bursts from the dust clouds, prompting Zhu Minglang to yell for Dai Hak Na to tear it to shreds. Hak Na does not hesitate, lunging forward like a raging storm of overlapping sword shadows. On the other side, Linghu swings her sword as countless sharp blades slice through the air, splitting and reuniting to chop the monster into 100 tiny pieces. Once the dust settles, she silently stares at the bronze shards on the ground. These are indeed the bronze shards. Gathering more of them should eventually grant us the key to unlock the gate. He analyzes it, finding the crow and Tima's appearance way too coincidental. Getting these bronze shards was almost too easy, as if someone is deliberately luring us in, and you just know this won't end well for our team. Linghu replies with a hint of hesitation, noting that while these Bactra crows can normally speak human tongue, this one completely ignored them. Zhu Minglang ponders deeply. This creature is definitely under someone else's control. Turning to his side, he orders Tu Hainlong to strike the creature, but she instantly calls out in a highly anxious, confused tone. Master Truck, what are you doing? If we kill this crow, we will have a hard time locating any other Huyenko beasts. Tu Hain Long steps up and immediately swings a powerful fist right at the crow. Zhu Minglang observes calmly, his eyes lighting up as he senses the dragon breath flowing smoothly into the crow's body. Since Tu Huanlong's dragon breath clears the mind, this crow should regain consciousness very quickly. Sure enough, the bird's eyes begin to roll as if it is suddenly waking up from a deep, long slumber. Flapping its wings frantically, it stammers in confusion, wondering what happened and where it is. Zhu Minglang remains perfectly calm, his slow voice asking what its deal is and if it actually came out of that massive gate, or did it come from somewhere else. The crow's eyes widen with sheer annoyance as it flaps its wings, asking when it ever came out of any gate. How could I not know about that myself? Linghu's expression instantly turns serious, realizing it is under deep mind control. This situation is quite bizarre, let me ask. But he simply waves his hand, raising an eyebrow with cold indifference. Since it does not even remember coming out of the gate, questioning it is completely pointless. We should have it lead us to the Hyenko species first. Maybe we will discover something new. Zhu Minglang's gaze hardens with firm resolve. Since you came out from that gate, you should easily be able to sense other Huyenko beasts that emerged from that exact same place. Lead us to them. The bird frowns with clear annoyance but reluctantly agrees. Suddenly, he holds out his hand, whispering with a sly, tempting grin. Once we are done, these spiritual bugs and Long Luong are all yours, boosting your cultivation by decades. Onya eyes light up with pure obsession as he agrees without a single second of hesitation. All right, let us go right now. The crow takes off, soaring high into the sky and pointing straight ahead to guide the way. Right here. Zhu Minglang pauses for a second, letting out a soft gasp. This thing is absolutely massive. The beast roars, a sound shaking the entire sky. But he only smiles calmly, his voice turning cold. Bai Qi, freeze it solid. Watch this. In a split second, thick frost erupts, locking the massive beast in a complete icy prison. At the exact same time, she swings her arm, summoning countless spiritual energy swords that rain down on the target. The heavy beast crashes down, a massive wave of spiritual energy surging outward from its broken body. Zhu Minglang reaches out to touch the newly dropped soul bead, muttering that the quality is quite impressive, a true ancient beast. Glancing sideways, he calls out young Master Truk. Come over here for a second. Len Ho crouches down with a searching look, noting that the fragment left by this ancient species looks totally different from the bronze ones they found earlier. It is silver. If we cannot make a bronze key, how do we open the gate? Zhu Minglang raises an eyebrow and asks directly, Onya, what is the difference between ancient beasts with bronze versus silver fragments? The crow replies coldly, sounding pretty annoyed. I have never actually killed one of those, so how should I know? He feels suspicious, but when he notices Onya's eyes suddenly shift, he asks what is wrong. Flapping its wings wildly, the crow warns that it senses a huge horde of ancient beasts just up ahead. Since you two are clearly masters, let me lead you straight to them. Hunt as many as you want, picking bronze or silver fragments as you please. Zhu Minglang smirks with an amused look. All right, lead the way then. Following behind, he warily watches the strange village appearing in front of them. These ancient species usually stay hidden in the deep wild, yet quite a few people seem to live here. Are you absolutely sure you did not get us lost? Onya shakes his head vigorously and snaps back. Trust me, there is no way I am wrong. Right after that, it calls out urgently, pointing its wings straight ahead. Look, they are right inside there. And right here, get ready for a gruesome sight, huge tiger-headed beasts tearing into raw, bloody meat. Unbelievable. Watching this, Len Ho wonders if another cultivator captured all these diverse ancient beasts and just has not had time to deal with them yet. Observing the feasting beasts, they certainly do not look like captives, prompting Zhu Minglang to reply deeply, no, that is not it. This protective barrier is stocked with premium spirit stones and monster feed. Someone is clearly breeding these creatures. She gasps. These ancient species are deadly, leaving nothing but total ruin and death wherever they go. Raising them like this must mean a dark, hidden agenda. This is completely unforgivable. We need to shut this down right now. Before she can even finish, Zhu Minglang senses a sudden presence nearby and whispers, heads up. Someone is heading this way. Behind them, a group of 3 approaches through the rustling wind, with a worried underling muttering, Chief, we are barely going to survive at this rate. These ancient species chew through an insane amount of daily food. Not to mention the spiritual grass. Raising actual dragons would be cheaper. His partner chimes in, yeah, and lately, tons of other cultivators have been hunting them down. They are all god-level masters, which makes catching these beasts way too risky for us now. The leader turns and snaps at them, short-sighted fools. These beasts are for that great lord, and as long as we deliver on time, we will get massive rewards, yet you complain about tiny feed costs. As for those nosy cultivators, we will handle them. With a scheming grin, he adds that Lord has already lost the ability to open that ancient door, so if you stay alert, we will not get caught. And if anyone discovers us, our beasts are waiting to tear them to pieces. While the leader boasts, Zhu Minglang and Len Ho stay hidden behind a nearby tree trunk, silently observing the entire scene. As the leader raises his weapon, a peculiar organization crest is visible on the scabbard. Len Ho recognizes it instantly. I have seen that exact sword hilt pattern before. They belong to the notorious evil sword sect. Zhu Minglang folds his arms calmly, his eyes reflecting a cold, arrogant glint. If they are from the evil sword sect, that makes this simple. We can deal with them however we want without any guilt. No time to waste. Let us strike. He chuckles softly, his voice carrying a deadly, mocking edge. You use the Baizi Crow to distract the hunters, leading them to fight useless beasts while you keep the real prize, raising these rare ancient species in this hidden spot just to hand them over to your mysterious master, am I right? The group freezes, completely caught off guard. Who goes there? Zhu Minglang eyes turn sharp as steel, the ones who are going to arrest you for breeding these unforgivable monsters. The leader's gaze darkens, a murderous aura flaring up as his hand tightly grips the hilt of his sword. Looks like some rats found our secret. Too bad anyone who uncovers the truth does not get to leave here alive. Len Ho bursts forward like a bolt of lightning, sword light erupting in every direction. Who survives remains to be seen. Take this. But the opponent stands completely still, a contemptuous smirk playing on his lips as dozens of condensed sword chi tear through the air. She pauses for a split second as the sword chi shatters instantly. He bursts into a smug laugh, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Is this really the best a disciple of Yuheng Star Palace can do? Hearing this, Linghu frowns as her gaze flickers. Behind her, Zhu Minglang silently observes, realizing that the sword styles of these two actually share the exact same root. If I use the Miaoshan sword sect style, I might not have the upper hand, so choosing Jiaoshan sword sect moves is definitely a smarter bet. The sword chi in Zhu Minglang's hand erupts like a beam of light, its massive power pointing straight to the heavens as the blinding crimson glare paints the entire space red. They gasp in sudden terror, shouting out, "What on earth is that?" A devastating shockwave crashes down as a literal rain of swords pours from above, sweeping the enemies off their feet amidst painful groans. Stepping forward coldly, he plants his foot onto a fallen enemy and demands in a firm voice, "Who is that lord, and where are you delivering these ancient beasts?" But get this, the guy suddenly convulses and ends his own life, completely cutting off their only lead for good. His eyes flicker with doubt since she has been acting quite strange lately. He asks what is wrong, and her face instantly grows dead serious. I realized that the sword techniques of the evil sword sect are incredibly similar to our Yuheng Star Palace. I fear there is a traitor in the Star Palace colluding with the evil sword sect. Zhu Minglang smirks, calmly pointing out that his Miaoshan sword sect style is quite similar to theirs too. It is simply because your Yuheng Star Palace is far too famous, so copycats are everywhere. Linghu remains firm, arguing that it feels entirely different, though Tam Mang cannot quite put a finger on the exact reason why. Let us put that aside for now. It is better to go and wipe out that pack of bred ancient beasts first. Together, they raise their blades, as the converging sword light morphs into a heavy rain of swords, pouring down like divine punishment. The mutated beasts shriek in agony as their bodies shatter, turning their flesh and blood into fine dust drifting through the cold air. She sheathes her sword, holding out a key that glows with a cold light, explaining that she refined all the fragments, but only got a silver key, not a bronze one. He calmly replies, "Did you not say before that either bronze or silver fragments would do the trick?" The crow freezes, its wings trembling slightly as its eyes turn dark, muttering that it actually does not know. Zhu Minglang points toward the remaining houses, his voice dropping low. "Maybe this sect has some documents we can search through. Let us go take a look. We might just find our answers." Linghu does not hesitate at all, giving a decisive nod of agreement. Inside a pitch-black house reeking of mold and stale blood, he stands before a wooden table piled with documents and orders. These seem to be their official mission records. Let me see. Zhu Minglang murmurs, flipping through the pages to examine them. The gate is divided into an outer section called Bik Toai, gate opened by a bronze key, and a central section called Ngan High Gate, opened by a silver key. Their mission is also twofold: retrieve the exact number of ancient beasts that escaped from the Ngan High Gate and deliver them to that lord. Then spread rumors that ancient beasts escaped from the Bik Toai Gate so nearby cultivators and local gods would hunt them down. She lowers her voice, realizing that if they blindly follow the cultist's lead and take the bronze key, we will only end up at Bik Toai Gate, whereas the real trouble lies within Ngan High Gate. Look at that smile. Ling Hu holds up the silver key with a smirk, suggesting they open the door instead. Zhu Minglang chuckles, his eyes gleaming with amusement. The more they try to hide it, the more he wants to see. The very second he finishes speaking, the silver key begins to tremble slightly, radiating a highly unusual aura. She stands there in utter shock as the bright light quickly carves strange patterns into the air, weaving a mystical portal right before their eyes. Zhu Minglang steps forward without a single shred of hesitation, crossing the threshold. In an instant, the scenery shifts completely, revealing a vibrant forest filled with bizarre, colorful trees that definitely do not belong to the mortal realm. He narrows his eyes in silence, wondering if this is truly the Ingan High Gate, since it looks entirely different from the Dragon Gate he saw before. Zhu Minglang observes the magical landscape before him, his expression turning grave. The situation here is quite complex. So how are we going to find the mastermind breeding these ancient beasts, she asks. But he calmly gives his directions. It is quite simple. The ancient beasts inside Ingan High Gate must be handed over in specific quantities, but if we slaughter every single one of them, the mastermind behind this will definitely be forced to act. We just need the Bai Crow to keep guiding us. The crow nods with firm determination, telling them to leave it to him, no problem at all. Suddenly, a faint, fragile cry echoes from the misty woods, pleading for anyone out there to come and help her. Zhu Minglang is taken aback and looks around, wondering if someone else is here. He gently taps Thu Tu on the shoulder, asking who she is and what she needs. Her eyes show a brief hesitation as she speaks with a shaky voice. I am Thu Tu, the true goddess of Tiangshuan, she says. Ling Hu looks at Zhu Minglang and whispers, explaining she is the goddess of Tiangshuan and the cultivation partner of Star Lord Tu Chuyen. She tilts her head slightly, her voice calm but carrying a hint of suspicion, and asks if Suzhuan is not supposed to be with her, and where exactly he is now. Chu Chi looks a bit flustered as her eyes waver, her normally gentle face suddenly overcome with panic. I honestly do not know, we clearly came here together, but somehow we got separated. We are dual cultivation partners and should easily sense each other, but right now I can sense absolutely nothing. So I really need someone to help me search for him. Minglang strokes his chin thoughtfully, his deep eyes narrowing in concentration. I really think a god as powerful as Suzhuan is perfectly safe, but you still won't find him anytime soon, because there is a very high chance he was intentionally lured away. Minglang's gaze sharpens in an instant, while Xiaxi speaks up with a voice dripping with heavy, intense pressure. We have some highly important news. Does Goddess Chu Chi care to hear it? Hearing this, she freezes and asks what it is. Chi Chi quickly speaks up, repeating the words about raising ancient species, and begs them to let her join their journey. Just when they are ready to follow the Baize Crow, boom! Watch this. A flaming sword suddenly flies out from nowhere, aiming straight at the bird. Minglang calmly crosses his arms as a smirk plays on his lips, noting how convenient it is that their enemies came straight to them. No hesitation. The attacker coldly waves his hand, his eyes burning with intense killing intent. The leader smugly declares his demand is simple: just hand over the silver key they used to enter this place, and he will graciously spare them. Minglang chuckles mockingly, and tells them that finding this hidden place was hard enough, so why would they just hand over their only key? Giving it up would leave them trapped like caged beasts with no hope of reinforcements, so even a fool knows they will never surrender it. The arrogant leader simply waves his hand, telling his lackey to just wipe them out and take the key by force. With no time to lose, Minglang summons his Yanwang dragon to strike first, as the enemy Flame Wind Dragon God wields flames hotter than the underworld itself. Pure destruction. Blazing flame energy erupts violently from the dragon. The intense heat literally warps the air around them as a barrage of fiery sword chi shoots from its mouth, targeting the Yanwang dragon. A red rain. Burning sword chi pours down, threatening to completely destroy everything in its path. Minglang pauses with a smirk, quite amused that a dragon can actually spit out flaming swords, while the arrogant enemy summoner laughs with absolute confidence. The enemy boasts that this is his special technique combining dragon taming and sword arts, declaring ordinary Dragonmasters stand zero chance against him. Completely unfazed, Minglang waves his hand, summoning Mo Xie to unleash a heavy, earth-shaking wave of sword chi in all directions. He can do that too, sending Mo Xie to back up Yanwang Dragon. Mo Xie's eyes flash with murderous intent, conjuring a massive array of glowing spiritual swords, while the Yanwang Dragon lets out a deafening, earth-shaking roar. With wild fury, the beast sinks its razor-sharp teeth deep into the Flame Wind Dragon, spraying fiery blood as the enemy dragon shrieks in pain. Despite the brutal clash unfolding, the enemy leader remains eerily calm, his eyes flashing with a cold, calculating plot. He realizes that although his Flame Wind Dragon boasts hotter breath than any other fire dragon around, its clumsy movements make it a lost cause, so he decides to sacrifice it, quickly forming hand seals to activate a deadly firebomb spell. The Flame Wind Dragon's body swells up abnormally as glowing red cracks cover its skin, radiating an unstable energy that violently shakes the ground. Get back! Minglang urgently yells for his dragons to quickly fall back. And then, talk about insane, an earth-shattering explosion erupts, sending a massive wave of fire that completely sweeps away the surrounding forest. Minglang recoils in shock as he realizes this lunatic never cared about his dragon, intending to burn everyone here alive to leave no witnesses. Minglang sits majestically on the back of Bai Qi, his gaze colder than ice. Bai Qi quickly snuffs out the remnants of the explosion, opening his massive jaws to draw in spiritual energy from the surrounding atmosphere. His crimson eyes glow with primal power as he unleashes a devastating blast of absolute zero ice energy. The smug leader's face instantly turns pale as he flies into a manic rage, charging straight toward Minglang with pure, bloodthirsty killing intent. Yet Minglang barely flinches, standing tall with a majestic, commanding aura that makes him look like a true king ruling over all. If you had not self-destructed your own dragon, it actually might have bought you enough time to escape with your life, but that tiny chance is now completely gone. Bai Qi roars as absolute zero frost erupts, locking the helpless leader in a thick block of ice before shattering him entirely. On the other side, Ling Hu and Qiu Qi had already sprung into action, moving like lightning as their swords gleam, warning the remaining enemies that they cannot escape. With a single, swift strike, their blades pierce cleanly through the remaining guards, while Minglang steps forward to collect the silver key. The silver key radiates a faint, pulsing spiritual energy, and as Qiu Qi curiously asks what it is, Minglang calmly explains with a steady voice. This key might unlock the cage where that evil sword sect keeps the ancient species, or perhaps it leads straight to their hidden stronghold. When we first arrived, we saw a key just like this, which is how we found the Inganhi Chimon. Her eyes waver for a second, falling silent as if drowning in some distant memory. It points to the Ngakwan star. She remembers seeing this exact pattern at the Ngakwan Tin Palace. This mark is usually carved on hidden objects, or forbidden palace keys. Frowning with confusion, Zhu Minglang looks at her and asks Lady Lernho, "What is wrong? You have been spaced out for quite a while." Startled, Lernho quickly avoids his gaze and mutters a stiff reply, "I am fine." Right then, Thu Tu yells out excitedly from right behind them, "Everyone, check this out." A massive, pitch-black cavern opens up, stretching deep into the shadows. Zhu Minglang stops dead. A massive pack of giant beasts are crammed together, their glowing red eyes burning through the dark. Lernho draws her sword with grim determination, but Thu Tu quickly warns her in a cold voice, "Do not move. It is completely useless." Thu Tu seriously explains that this barrier is actually known as a sacrificial barrier. These ancient mystical beasts can only go inside, but they can never escape. Over time, the barrier slowly digests the trapped ancient beasts and transfers their essence to the other side, making it impossible for anyone to cross. With that, Thu Tu pulls out a talisman and slaps it onto the barrier without a single second of hesitation. "I happen to have a talisman that can reveal exactly what kind of monster is feeding on these ancient beasts. Once they are digested, we will hunt the beast down. You know we have to destroy this evil right at its roots." The moment the runes glow and the light flickers, a bizarre, creepy face slowly begins to materialize on the surface of the paper. She freezes in shock, stuttering out that it is the Sun Meng. Zhu Minglang frowns, his eyes filled with disbelief and caution as he asks what that thing is. The terrifying eyes of the Sun Meng glow bright red with pure malice. It is an ancient, legendary calamity of destruction. Wherever it treads, nothing survives, and it once came terrifyingly close to wiping out the entire human race. Back then, thousands of master cultivators had to assemble, taking a whole century to finally seal it inside the Ingar Quan Tin Palace. Her eyes fill with deep suspicion, because this makes absolutely no sense. Even though the Sun Meng is highly intelligent and can speak, it is still a pure, evil calamity. Is its master not terrified of being devoured by it too? Only someone who has completely lost their mind would try this. Hearing this, Lernho turns pale, her voice trembling in total disbelief. "That is impossible. The Sun Meng is sealed deep beneath the Tin Palace. Only master swordsmen and elders can even go near it. So how is it here?" Thu Tu steps in calmly, trying to quiet her down. "Lady Lernho, please calm down. This talisman only gives a rough guess, so maybe I just made a mistake here." But the moment those words leave her mouth, she freezes up, her face turning pale as panic fills her eyes. "It is already this obvious, and yet you still do not recognize me. How useless." From the pitch-black shadows, a figure slowly steps forward, leaving Lernho completely shocked and trembling all over. "Master," Lernho gasps in absolute confusion. "Master, why are you working together with an ancient mystical beast?" Zhu Minglang demands coldly, "Exactly. You are already a Star Lord. Do you really still need to steal this tiny bit of cultivation?" Lernho sneers mockingly. A Star Lord is just a hollow title, given by the heavens when they please, and stripped away just as easily. I struggled for half my life, but once I became a Star Lord, my powers were stripped away just because I took some dirty money to execute my rivals. Standing behind them, Thu Tu cannot help but speak up. but I can clearly feel that you still possess the power of a Star Lord. Lurno bursts into wild laughter as a violent purple aura erupts from her, forcing Thutu back. This aura is incredibly overwhelming, and it carries the dark force of the ancient sacred demon, which probably belongs to the Sun Mong. A ferocious voice echoes, "You guys probably do not know that in this world, besides the righteous Thung, there is also the Ta Thung." Zhu Minglang is shocked to see this. As the Sun Mong draws close, it reveals that Lurno's current power is actually channeled from Ta Thung through itself. He repeats in total confusion, "Ta Thung." It quickly explains, "Choose the righteous path," and the power granted requires an eternity of exhausting cultivation, and one slip-up can destroy your progress. But the Ta Thung is different. Just steal and kill, and your power will skyrocket beyond all limits. The Sun Mong asks them, expecting an easy answer. The Ta Thung path is clearly superior. So how will you three choose? Lurno turns a calculating gaze toward Lurnho, saying, "You have incredible talent, and you have served me for years. Submit to the Ta Thung and keep my secret, and I will make you the 9th Star Lord very soon." I refuse. I train to protect the innocent, and I will never sacrifice them for my own gain. Furious, Lurno screams out, "You useless trash. I wasted years raising you, so now you are my enemy." Zhu Minglang quickly steps in to stop her. "You really are a master of lies, only mentioning the benefits of the Ta Thung, while ignoring how those who walk the dark path suffer in agony, wishing they were dead. For some quick power, you sold your soul, but evil will never triumph over good." Chusi agrees with him, saying, "Exactly. We are not submitting to some evil spear." She suddenly draws her blade and charges, shouting, "Then I will just silence you all forever." With one mighty slash, she shatters the solid rock, sending sharp debris flying straight at them. Zhu Minglang reacts instantly and commands Bai Qi, "Clear those falling rocks and open a path for me." It immediately obeys. In a flash, Bai Qi conjures an icy shield to protect him from any injury. Zhu Minglang summons a blazing sword, forging his slayer blade directly out of the void. With a sharp swing of his arm, a roaring wave of fire slashes straight toward Lu Wu. Lu Wu is completely bewildered, thinking how strange. This guy clearly only has a demigod cultivation realm, yet he possesses the raw power of a true god. Could he actually be a deity descending from some hidden star planet? From the darkness, Lu Wu summons dozens of blades dripping with dark energy, forming her celestial net sword array. Zhu Minglang gasps as expected of the elite swordplay of the Yuheng Star Palace. That is a whole lot of swords. Ling Hu wide eyes and says, "Lord Zhu, you can actually." Lu Wu furiously cuts her off with a warning, "Think carefully. If you speak up now, you are betraying the Yuheng Star Palace. Anyone who leaks our secret arts will be exiled. Have you really made up your mind to join me and serve the evil spear?" Hearing this, Zhu Minglang's expression darkens while Ling Hu freezes in heavy hesitation. She quickly hardens her resolve, declaring, "No. Even if I get exiled from the palace, I can start over, but I will never help a tyrant. I refuse to walk a dark path. Lord Zhu, the center of this sword array is its core. Just shatter that and it falls apart." He smirks. "All right, Lady Ling Hu, I knew I could trust you on this." Zhu Minglang swings his blade, smashing straight into the swords Lu Wu summoned. A thick, oppressive cloud of dark energy rises to completely cover her. "You are just acting self-righteous. You are only unswayed because you have never witnessed the true power granted by the evil spear." Lu Wu charges, delivering a brutal kick that sends Zhu Minglang flying into a boulder. A soft, mocking voice echoes through the air, losing right at the start. "Looks like my timing is absolutely perfect." Zhu Minglang is shocked to see Lingsha, calling out little sister-in-law. "What are you doing here?" Chusi steps out, looking around anxiously. "Lord Zhu, are you okay?" Ling Hu follows closely behind them, saying this person seems to be Lady Lingsha, whom I had the pleasure of meeting once before. Lingsha clears her throat softly, replying, "I only followed him here to stop him from flirting with other girls behind my sister's back." Zhu Minglang scratches his head in total embarrassment. Meanwhile, Lu Wu glares at them with pure irritation. What a bunch of pointless, trivial nonsense. But now we have a much bigger problem. Shan Meng slowly steps forward, asking, "Why did even more people show up? Has our secret been exposed?" She says, coldly, tracing her fingers along her sword hilt, "It is just a coincidence. No need to worry. As long as their cultivation is below the star god level, I can wipe them all out at once. There is absolutely nothing to fear." Without another word, Lu Wu unleashes a devastating slash that triggers a massive explosion. Lingsha quietly analyzes the scene. She must be channeling power from the evil spear through Shan Meng. "I have a way to stop this." Talk about a total shocker for him. His sister-in-law is surprisingly resourceful to actually know about this. She tosses a scroll of papers to him, explaining, "As a spirit painter, I also must connect with Qing Ma to draw my powers. So of course I know." Miao Shan has a 3-person sword array that can sever the connection between Shan Meng and the evil spear. "Quickly call those two over here." Zhu Minglang immediately catches the papers. He issues a serious order, repeating Lingsha's plan. "First, We must sever the link between Shanmeng and the evil spear, so Lu Wu cannot draw any more godlike power. Once that is done, her strength will not be much different from ours. I will draw her fire. While the three of them form the sword array to deal with Shanmeng, Ling Hu readily agrees to the plan. Let's give it a shot. It is our only option right now. With their plan aligned, Zhu Minglang orders Bai Qi to block her power. Lu Wu swings her hand, unleashing a sweeping slash. Upon receiving the command, Bai Qi conjures a massive wall of ice directly in front of her. She smugly unleashes her own spiritual aura. It is completely useless. You can hide all you want, but no one can defeat the power of a star god. Lu Wu seizes the opening and rushes straight at Bai Qi. Shanmeng instantly senses the looming danger. Panicking, this is bad. It is the spear-severing sword array. I cannot let them succeed or I will lose the evil spear's power. The three girls manifest a brilliant green magic circle, instantly forcing Lu Wu to a grinding halt. It seems that Punk was just a decoy. This sword array was their real trump card. She conjures a massive tornado to rip them apart. This must be a trick from that newcomer. Now go straight to hell. Zhu Minglang quickly shoves Lingsha out of the way, shouting, Lady Lingsha, watch out. As the swirling vortex sucks him inside, Chu Si cries out in absolute terror, we are doomed. Even with god-level cultivation, there is no way anyone can survive for long inside a void storm. Lord Zhu is in serious trouble. Zhu Minglang struggles against the crushing force, when suddenly something pulls him deep inside. In front of him lies a misty, endless darkness. Where am I? If I were still trapped in the void storm, I would not be unscathed like this. So I must have been dragged into a completely different dimension. A sudden flash of light catches his attention normally. The hidden star of Fu Chen does not glow for no reason. Could it be? Zhu Minglang stops in his tracks, deep in thought. Wait. I remember it lies between the barriers of Nokhoan then Kuang and Thien Shu then Kuang, hidden in the void, needing divine power to wake it. Zhu Minglang mutters in a low voice, may the divine light shine. And here's where it gets crazy. The dark mist instantly vanishes to reveal a dreamlike, beautiful scenery right before him. This is definitely my divine mansion, Long Vai Sun. Zhu Minglang waves his hand and calls out, is anyone there? Who is going to guide me? Right then, a female voice echoes from up ahead, who goes there? He points to himself and replies, I am the current Fu Chen. That woman is the chief maid of Long Vai Sun, named Hak Fuang Huang. She warmly welcomes him, my god, you have finally arrived. Fuang Hong has been waiting so miserably for you. A second later, Fuang Huang and the others drop to their knees before Zhu Minglang, chanting respectfully in unison, welcome our god. Seeing this, he signals them to stand up and rise. Zhu Minglang steps closer, asking Fuang Huang in a low voice, do they not know I am Fu Chen? Is it only you who can sense my identity? She smiles gently and explains, yes, please do not blame them. Only the chief maid and chief attendant of Long Vai Sun can sense the power of Fu Chen. Our bowing rules are different from theirs, and even the position of the Mai Din mark is not the same. Please follow me inside now. Following Fuang Huang, Zhu Minglang brings up a past question by the way. During our dream encounter, I asked if you knew anyone who used to worship at Long Vai Sun or is connected to us. Because she has the exact same mark on her shoulder as you do, she quietly replies there is actually some progress. After searching the ancient texts here, I discovered that according to records from 10,000 years ago, the previous chief maid indeed betrayed us and fled. Fuang Huang quietly reflects on the immense responsibility of the Fu Chen. Past Fu Chens would always handpick maids and attendants with high potential as disciples, so they could eventually take over the position or become main gods to assist them. Though the previous chief maid learned her cultivation techniques from the former Fu Chen, the master believed she still harbored wicked thoughts, making her entirely unfit to ascend as a true main god, meaning she needed far more discipline to temper her rotten attitude. Yet that wicked chief maid took advantage of his seclusion, leading enemy gods straight into Long Vai Sun, destroying the mountain's power and getting the former master killed when he resisted. Fuang Huang explains that ever since, Long Vai Sun fell into deep decay, the chief attendant post remains empty, and the divine power is still largely drained. If we cannot hunt down the culprit, your own power will suffer, preventing you from regaining your godhood and forcing you to keep training. Zhu Minglang is quite curious and asks, but how can I be sure if the woman I know is actually that former chief maid? Turning to him, she patiently explains that any maid or attendant approved to become a main god would have the Mai Din mark completely erased from their physical body. But because that traitorous chief maid rebelled and refused to accept the seal, this is where the puzzle pieces connect. She must bear a damaged mark, which instantly triggers a shock memory for Zhu Minglang. Exactly. Xuan Ge definitely has that kind of mark. Sighing deeply, he admits that he cannot hide his current situation any longer. I am in deep trouble. Hunted by a rogue star god, I only stumbled onto this sanctuary by sheer accident. I originally thought reclaiming my power would guarantee a flawless victory, but this place is a chaotic mess. Fuang Huang smiles gently, offering comfort. Do not be so discouraged even with lost power. a Fu Chen judges other gods, drawing immense strength directly from the righteous path. Defeating a rogue star god is definitely not just empty talk for someone of your status. Gesturing toward the hall, she urges him to absorb what remains of Longvai Sun's divine energy first. It will greatly boost your current cultivation. Zhu Minglang takes a bold step forward to accept the power. Walking inside the main hall, Fuang Huang raises her hands and chants a powerful spell, calling upon the chaotic stars to return the light to their true god. Instantly, fiery red spiritual energy erupts from the void, shifting into a deep purple before gathering around Zhu Minglang in a massive wave. Glowing red talismans suddenly latch onto his body as the world outside trembles violently from the sudden rush of power. Zhu Minglang stands completely still, absorbing the heavy energy. Brilliant gold streams of divine power swirl gracefully around his entire form. With the ritual complete and the power of Longvai Sun reclaimed, Zhu Minglang smiles with sheer satisfaction. Is this the true strength of Fu Chen? Even if it is incomplete, it is still pretty damn powerful. Then he eagerly asks, does our Longvai Sun completely surpass that of Beidou Divine Province? Bowing her head, she confirms that Longvai Sun once ruled the stars, though it declined over the last 10,000 years because so few Fu Chen survived to reclaim their throne. The previous Fu Chen actually had everyone's full support back then, but still met a tragic end. She adds that once training wraps up, he will probably have to enter the Dragon Gate once more, triggering another massive cultivation breakthrough that will grant him a major opportunity to hunt down the killer and reclaim his divine throne. Zhu Minglang raises an eyebrow and asks if he really has to enter the Dragon Gate again. Fuang Huang gently raises her hand and replies that the power of Longvai Mountain originates from the Dragon Gate, so he must connect with it. Clenching his fists, his eyes light up with pure excitement now that he has this power. He can finally go deal with Lu No and San Meng. Fuang Huang warns him. Stay careful, she urges, please tread with caution. Even though Fu Chen's divine force can suppress the evil spear, Sun Meng does not just connect with the spear to draw power, he also carries a primeval sacred demon force within himself. Meaning even if he defeats Lu No, he might still be no match for Sun Meng. Zhu Minglang hesitates for a second, asking what they should do now. She calmly suggests that she heard Sun Meng was originally sealed away inside the Ingok Hoenn Star Palace. What if they try to contact the Star Palace right next to the hidden mist gate behind Longvai Mountain? Getting the point, he turns to leave. The Star Palace is right next door, so he'll go find their help now. Fuang Huang stares at Zhu Minglang sitting to her right, warning him to wait, because actually crossing through the hidden mist gate means entering that deadly void storm again, which is extremely dangerous. Her plan was just using transmission through the Huyen Fu, taking 3 to 5 days, but he shakes his head, saying there is no time. Things are too urgent right now, and besides, he has survived it once before, so he already has some solid experience. Seeing his determination, Fuang Huang does not push any further. She stands up to see him off, telling him to take care. Zhu Minglang nods to reassure her, saying he is fine since he already unlocked his divine powers anyway. He promises to handle finding the killer who murdered the previous Fu Chen, then steps straight into the waiting teleportation array. Standing still, he watches the surrounding space warp and shift around him. In a flash, he appears right outside the gates of Ngok Hoenn Star Palace. He slowly steps forward now, but before he can even knock, a sword-wielding woman suddenly appears from inside, demanding to know who he is and warning him that men are strictly banned. Zhu Minglang stands frozen, wondering what to say. Should he bring up Lun Go's betrayal? They probably won't believe him anyway. Or maybe claim he knows Len Ho Lin? But before he can even finish his train of thought, the girl instantly lunges at him with her blade. Startled, he yells out, "Talk about aggressive." He backs away to parry her blows, quickly planning his move. He decides to use his heaven-grade swordplay, which shares the same roots as theirs, hoping he can pass himself off as one of their own. Channeling his technique, Zhu Minglang splits into multiple illusions that circle around him. Standing opposite him, Fuang Yan is completely shocked by the sight. She finally stops. Zhu Minglang quickly takes the chance to explain everything. He introduces himself as Zhu Minglang, but before he can even finish his sentence, Fuang Yan cuts him off, demanding to know why his style is so similar to theirs. As far as she knows, only Monton's swordplay looks like that. She asks what his connection to her is. Zhu Minglang thinks it over, murmuring the name Monton, relative of Mon Bangtu. Oh, check this out. He starts wondering if his own mother actually has connections here, which would make things way easier. Pointing her blade at Zhu Minglang, Fuang Yan snaps that an outsider like him has no right to speak Manton's name, forcing him to raise his hands in surrender. He reveals she is his mother, asking if she lives in the Star Palace, which completely shocks Fuang Yan. She claims she has never heard of Monton having a family, accusing him of boldly impersonating her son. Zhu Minglang quickly waves his hands in denial, asking why he would even lie about that when he didn't even know she was here in the first place. Just then, Tin Thon steps out to stop them. telling Fuang Yun not to trouble him since he comes from the hidden mist gate and likely relates to Fu Chen. After all, they have been neighbors with Fu Chen for generations. Fuang Yin obeys but points out he claims to be Monton's son. Though Ting Than calmly shakes her head and promises to ask him herself, Fuang Yin backs down without further question. Later, Zhu Minglang is invited into the pavilion to talk, where Ting Than gently brings up the previous incident. She might not believe he is the son of Manbang too, but she herself sees a clear resemblance. Zhu Minglang looks at Tin Than with a hint of confusion in his eyes. He asks who she is, and Ting Than giggles, revealing they share the same bloodline. Zhu Minglang frowns, recalling his father always resented his mother after his birth. She even left home without leaving any word behind, making him wonder if he actually has an older sister his mother brought here to train, especially since this palace only accepts female disciples. He nods to the star deity, saying he understands and should probably call her big sister. But the moment Zhu Minglang finishes his sentence, a woman walks in behind him to scold him. Big sister, what? She snaps, calling out his total mess of family titles. She explains that this woman is actually her little sister, his aunt, and the new star deity chosen by heaven to replace Lur Ingo. Zhu Minglang froze. Hearing that familiar voice, he spins around. Mother, you are actually here, he gasps. Bung Tu just looks at him calmly, asking what is there to be surprised about. She was always a cultivator here, but a twist of terrible fate made her immortal. Now, she is simply returning to the Ngarquan Star Palace. Jaw dropped, Zhu Minglang stands there. He looks back and forth between his mother and the star deity, asking what in the world actually happened here. He mentions the rumors outside about the two sisters hating each other. He asks if his aunt really fought his mother, defeating her and forcing her to live as a mere mortal. Besides, his aunt does not really look like some kind of terrifying evil monster. The star deity giggles, amused that even he heard those rumors, noting that their little plan worked out pretty well. She explains that his mother's real opponent back then was actually Truk Tuet Ing Ngan inside the Dragon Gate. And honestly, this is where the family history gets completely out of hand. It was his aunt. Truk Tuet Ngan. The star deity nods, sharing the old history. Truk Tuet Ngan was Li Xuyan's guardian of order who opened the Dragon Gate. She brilliantly used its divine rules, turning the trial into a brutal filtering system to select true gods. That massive change made her tons of enemies, and his mother was one of them. The star deity's voice drifts softly through the pavilion. The two rivals fought so fiercely that both lost their powers, ending up as normal mortals. Since Truk Tuet Ngan was incredibly famous and targeted by countless enemies, losing her cultivation made her highly vulnerable to deadly attacks. So, she spread the fake rumor about sisterly hatred just to protect her. Hearing this, Zhu Minglang slowly turns his gaze back to Bung Tu. Mother, did you actually have some massive grudge against Aunt Truk Tuet Ngan? He asks, wondering why they fought to such a deadly, life-or-death extreme. Bung Tu awkwardly clears her throat, muttering that he understands absolutely nothing. It was just sibling rivalry during the trial, she explains, insisting there was never any real, deep-seated hatred between them. The star deity watches them, resting her chin on her hand with a slight smile. But she reveals that the grudge actually grew much larger later, after Bung Tu married Truk Thien Quan. Once Zhu Minglang was born, Truk Tuet Ngan sneaked back into the Dragon Gate for a little payback. She used her sibling connection with Truk Thien Quan to kidnap the baby. Zhu Minglang is totally stunned. The star deity recalls the chaotic scene of that day and continues her tale. The moment Bung Tu emerged from her secluded training, she realized her son was gone and immediately hunted down Truk Tuet Ing Ngan. However, Truk Tuet Ngan still held on to way more spiritual power, meaning his mother stood absolutely no chance against her. The memory is still incredibly vivid to the star deity. Truk Tuet Ngan gave her sister a harsh choice, either admit she was weaker, beat her in combat, or lose her child forever. Left with no other choice, his mother retreated to the Muson sword sect to train. He looks at Bung Tu in total disbelief, realizing his mother neither admitted defeat, nor managed to actually beat his aunt. She nods calmly, explaining that while it started that way, she eventually realized her rival was a much better teacher, so she just let it go. The only person who still makes her blood boil is his father. That idiot saw Truk Tuet Ngan was highly suspicious but was too lazy to do anything, letting her walk off with the baby. The moment she finishes venting, "You can't even make this up." Zhu Minglang facepalms hard, utterly shocked that his chaotic family history started from a petty duel between his mother and his aunt. These were 3 full-grown adults, yet they handled his life in the most ridiculous way possible. Wait. Just like that, he suddenly remembers an incredibly critical piece of news. Zhu Minglang's face suddenly turns dead serious. He tells his mother that there is an incredibly urgent matter he needs to report, and it directly involves Lur Ngo. Bung Tu nods, revealing she already knows Lur Ngo is trying to draw power from an evil spear through the Sun Meng. Shockingly, she admits this connects back to her. Years ago, Lur Ngo was so deeply jealous of her title that she recklessly hunted down the 4 beast incarnations, but a remnant soul of one of those monsters corrupted her, creating a deadly inner demon. Bangtu explains that when Lerngo returned, she was no longer at Naquan. Lerngo took command of the palace, but she always felt insecure, knowing she could never truly earn the respect of her people. Now that Bangtu is back, her anxiety has completely spiraled. Discovering the star deity title went to her little sister was the final straw. Incapable of accepting this, she turned to the cursed spear. Hearing this, the star deity sitting nearby looks incredibly guilt-ridden. She blames herself for refusing the divine power back when heaven chose her over Lerngo. She simply felt too weak compared to her sister and the rival, so she hesitated to accept the celestial authority. Now, everything is spiraling out of control. Zhu Minglang quickly comforts her, telling his aunt not to blame herself since she can still claim her power right now. He is also fresh to this godhood thing. He is confident he can handle Lerngo, but dealing with the Sunmong is too much, which is why he needs their help. So, what's the plan? Bangtu just gives him a confident smile, assuring him it's going to be easy. Back then, Yuheng Star Palace led the seal on it. I am taking your aunt to claim her divine power, and she will rebuild the sword formation herself. Our Yuheng Star Palace will also go all out to trap that evil thing completely. She even points out a few critical things that Zhu Minglang must watch out for. Go on ahead, and remember first, do everything you can to trigger the power of Lu Wu's evil spear. That way, the power of the righteous spear can return to your aunt. Second, buy us some time. Once we are fully prepared, we will unleash the complete power of Yuheng Star Palace. He obediently nods, yes, mother. Leaving the Yuheng Star Palace, Zhu Minglang quietly breathes a sigh of relief. What a relief who knew his aunt would be the new star deity of Yuheng. With his mother here too, dealing with Lu Wu and Shan Meng and even facing Huaqiu later on is going to be much easier now. Zhu Minglang scratches his head as he walks, wondering where his sister-in-law Linghu Lin and Qi Qi have gone. He frowns, spotting a tense standoff in the distance between some allies and a beast. It is weird those four barely managed to hold off Lu Wu and Shan Meng. He has been gone so long, yet they are still locked in this stalemate. Then, Zhu Minlang's eyes lock onto Su Zhuan. Instantly relieved, he rushes straight over to them. This is great, he knew something was bound to happen out here. Su Zhuan is here too, I am back, let me give you guys a hand. But before he can even get close, Su Zhuan shouts to stop him. Lingsha warns him sharply, do not come over here. Lu Wu is incredibly dangerous now. The moment anyone gets hurt or feels despair, she absorbs all that negative emotion to boost her own power to a whole new level. Unless you are absolutely sure you can win, stay away from her. Hearing this, Zhu Minlang freezes right in his tracks. Did they really beat Lady Linghu into a totally different person? Spotting him, Lu Wu smirks. She did not expect him to survive the void storm. But she warns that their luck ends here, and she is going to wipe everyone out. Zhu Minlang glares back as Lu Wu prepares to unleash her attack. His mother told him to trigger Lu Wu's evil spear first so his aunt could reclaim the righteous spear. But a seal is locking part of that power away. Lu Wu likely did that to prevent overload from absorbing star power way too fast. And here is where it gets wild. Zhu Minlang frowns, deciding to shatter that seal. He summons his dragon, come on out. Yama Dragon, let's move together. Yama Dragon carries him close to Lu Wu, successfully shielding them from the barrage of flying swords she throws. Lu Wu frowns slightly at the sight. Is she just seeing things? This kid feels way stronger than before, and that faint divine aura radiating off him actually feels dangerous. Where did he get this kind of power? She decides to avoid a direct clash for now. Opening her palm, she slides several tiny, sharp swords between her fingers. In a flash, Lu Wu hurls the entire volley straight at Yama Dragon. Riding on his dragon's back, Zhu Minlang tells it to stay calm. She is just trying to trigger its rage to feed her own power. Hearing this, Lu Wu bursts out into mock laughter. It is completely useless, you can train it, but a dragon will always rely on its beastly instincts. And now, it is far too late. Zhu Minlang summons his weapon, keeping his guard up. He thinks to himself that talking too much usually gets you face-slapped pretty fast. Without another word, Zhu Minlang swings his sword, sending blazing rings of fire spiraling straight toward Lu Wu. She stares in shock. His righteous energy is so incredibly pure that it completely sweeps away all negative emotions, something she has never seen before. Holding tight to Yama Dragon's back, Zhu Minlang guides his beast to dive low. He tells his dragon with me here, you can strike freely, and no matter how she tries to provoke you, do not lose your cool. Yama Dragon easily dodges every single attack, and in the blink of an eye, Zhu Minlang charges forward, sword aims straight at Lu Wu. The seal is right there. A massive collision rings out, and look, Lu Wu just lowers her head with an eerie smile. She mocks him. She thought he had some secret trump card, but it turns out he is just incredibly foolish. You thought this seal was just dark energy and slashed it, but you had no idea this very seal was keeping me from fully absorbing my star power. With a wild scream, she releases an explosion of blazing red energy that floods the entire space. Thanks to you, she gloats after this fight. She will fully master the evil spear and absorb all its power into her body. Now, not even all the star deities of the righteous spear stand a chance against her. Clutching her heavily wounded body, Linghu desperately shouts up from below. She yells Zhu Minglang. We might not win even if we fight together. We should retreat and gather reinforcements first. Lingsha agrees, shouting that he should not try to take her on alone. But Zhu Minglang quickly reassures them, do not worry, he can handle this. Scanning the battlefield, he calculates that his aunt must have successfully reclaimed her power by now. Finally, he can unleash everything without holding back. Raising Moshi into the air, he commands the stars to become his furnace and channel heaven's pure energy. With a solemn face, Zhu Minglang drives his divine power back into the blade. Fu Chen raises its legendary sword, immediately releasing a blinding, brilliant wave of radiant energy. He rides in on Dianvuanglong Fai, yelling for her to prepare to die. Thiensat quickly warns him to be careful, as his opponent's power comes from Fu Chen, the enemy of Ta Thuong. Hearing this, Lunago's face darkens with panic as she gasps in shock, but Zhu Minglang instantly drives his sword straight through her. Luno collapses to the ground, stuttering that this is impossible since she is clearly the star god of Ta Thuong. Lenho swoops down from above, desperately begging Zhu Minglang to spare her master since she took that devastating hit. Now that her master's seal and cultivation are completely gone, Lenho promises to persuade her, and Zhu Minglang immediately agrees to let her try. She begs her master to stop being so blindly stubborn. Ta Thuong is the wrong path, and letting it go now is still possible. With your amazing talent, starting over from scratch will eventually lead you back to the absolute peak. Lu No just bursts out laughing, calling Lenho completely rigid as her eyes slowly grow hollow, losing all of their light. What even is the right path anyway? And who decides what is wrong? I am definitely not the only one who sought out Ta Thuong. Suddenly, a bright purple light erupts from her body, completely shocking everyone around. Wait, look at this. Zhu Minglang spins around as masked figures arrive to deliver their judgment. For succumbing to Ta Thuong and defying heaven, the corrupted star god Lun Go must die. Meanwhile, Bang Tu orders her group to move in. Form a barrier against the ancient demon Sun Mong immediately. Her team quickly shouts in agreement. Thiensat roars out furiously as a swarm of glowing blades materializes in the air, executing the legendary Huan Hoa sword technique. The swords pierce straight into Thiensat, making it howl in agony as the cultivators combine forces to drain its overflowing energy. Tien Than carefully absorbs that wild golden power into a special container, sealing the massive energy completely inside. Holding the glowing container radiating a crimson aura, Tien Than walks over to Zhu Minglang with a proposal. We will take Sun Mong back to seal it within the forbidden zone of Nok Hoan Star Palace, so it never threatens humanity again. He thanks her deeply for the rescue. Nearby, Len Ho collapses into a corner, sobbing in absolute despair. Master, Zhu Minglang glances over, thinking Xuanga arrived at the perfect moment, and warmly approaches her. Zhu Minglang greets Xuanga, but jokingly complains that her sudden intervention stole all his credit, while she just stares back coldly. She calmly apologizes, explaining that she only stepped in because she saw Zhu Minglang hesitating to deliver the final blow. Besides, simply destroying Lungo's cultivation would never work. Her ruthless nature means she would definitely remain a threat. Zhu Minglang sighs with a long face, explaining that he simply felt some human empathy. If they executed Lungo, poor Len Ho would completely lose her master, making her quite pitiful. Xuanga coldly replies that Lungo has committed far too many evil deeds. Staying with her might not have been a good thing for Len Ho. In fact, this misfortune could somehow be a blessing in disguise. Zhu Minglang looks confused, asking what she means. Xuanga simply points forward, telling him to see for himself. He watches Bang Tu and Tin then comforting Len Ho, with Bang Tu offering to take her as a disciple and teach her sword techniques now that Lun Go is gone. Zhu Minglang is so shocked he can barely believe his ears. He rushes over, asking his mother why she would teach Len Ho instead of him, but she scoffs that since he learned Truk Tuyetangan's style, she hates it too much to teach him. Tin Than quickly clarifies that her sister does not mean it that way. While anyone can learn the Star Palace style, women naturally have a distinct advantage when trying to reach the absolute highest realm. She simply does not want you wasting time on the wrong path. Zhu Minglang pouts, muttering that his aunt is always much nicer. Tu Chuyen bows in deep gratitude, thanking Zhu Minglang for his crucial help in finally putting an end to Lun Go. He also thanks him for taking care of Thu Tu, which Zhu Minglang humbly downplays before Nan Lingsha playfully nudges him. Nan Lingsha teasingly praises Zhu Minglang for being surprisingly brave and powerful. Taking on a powerful star god and winning, you normally never show off like this. Thu Tu chimes in, admitting she is pretty curious too, since he struggled against Lun Go before. But after returning from the Void Storm, his power clearly surged. Did he find some incredible secret opportunity? Embarrassed, Zhu Minglang scratches his head and claims he was sucked into a mountain where some fairy sister gave him the power to rank up. Tu Chuyen is left entirely speechless, staring silently at Zhu Minglang while Xuan Ge watches him closely from a distance. She quietly deduces that the only places connected to the recent void storm are Longvai Mountain and Nagok Hoan Star Palace. Since he is a man, obtaining divine power from the Star Palace is nearly impossible, leaving only Longvai Mountain. Could it be Fu Chen? Xuan Ge murmurs to herself, noting that it completely explains why his aura feels both incredibly familiar and yet strangely bizarre. If Zhu Minglang is really the god of retribution, I fear he might target me to avenge the previous one. I must strike first to gain the upper hand. As everyone gathers in a room, Su Zhuan stands up to announce that because they defeated Lu Wu and Shan Meng, returning to the Yuheng Star Palace, they have wiped out almost all ancient mystical beasts from the Yingxi Gate. Yuheng Star Palace has also crowned a new star god. Despite the pretty rough journey, the dust has finally settled. Su Zhuan voices his opinion that during this crusade against Lu Wu, Zhu Minglang made the greatest contribution and earned everyone's high respect. Why do we not nominate him as the 9th star god? What do you all think? He quickly speaks up, I am not quite interested in this since I am pretty used to living freely. Besides, should choosing a star god not follow the will of the heavens? It does not seem like something we can simply decide with a meeting. Su Zhuan softly explains the situation. Normally, selecting a star god indeed requires guidance from the heavens, but the position of the 9th star is rather unique, and its outcome desperately needs an active push. Looking up at the glowing sphere floating in the sky, Su Zhuan's voice softens as it always hovers right above the Beidou divine state, unable to descend and join with the divine state. Until a star god is finally chosen, we must channel that person's power to merge it with the Beidou divine state. The long night is coming, and all 9 star gods must return swiftly, or we can barely suppress the dark domain. Yoyin represents the martial head power, and we must urgently go after it. Zhu Minglang does not quite get it, so the star goddess clarifies Yoyin is the name of the 9th star god, which hid in the deep void long ago. Rumor has it that no humans remain on Yoyin, and it has turned into a habitat for ancient beasts, ancient mystical monsters, and dragons. Suddenly, her expression turns chilling. The seat of the Yuan star god has no divine restrictions, meaning anyone but the active star gods can claim it. Even if you are already a different righteous god, it does not matter at all. Who would not love ruling over 2 stars? Just give it a shot. But Zhu Minglang warily waves his hand in refusal. No way, I really lack that kind of capability. Su Zhuan lets out a soft sigh. If Zhu Minglang insists on declining, then we will not force the matter anymore. Yet, we desperately need the Yoyin star to descend quickly. Since our plans have changed, we must find another way to pull it down ourselves. Wait, what? Zhu Minglang is left completely dumbfounded by this crazy pulling plan. But the star goddess immediately clarifies, this task not only requires the 9 star gods to jointly activate the heaven-guiding formation, but also demands a few powerhouses to enter Yoyin star beforehand and set up the heaven-guiding stone array at the core. Only then can we guarantee its descent. Zhu Minglang gasps in sheer shock. Good heavens, you actually want to drag down an entire star? A star is a whole continent. This power must surpass all limits. Xuan Ge, quiet until now, suddenly stands up. Let us assemble elites from all across Beidou for this journey, so we can lead a training expedition to Yuyin. This will allow us to swiftly clear out the beast there, while accelerating our efforts to drag Yuan star down. Su Zhuan nods in agreement, calling it a pretty solid idea. The star goddess turns to Zhu Minglang, asking if he wants to join since this carefree expedition perfectly suits his wild lifestyle. Slaying those ancient mystical creatures might even bring Zhu Minglang some great fortune. After listening to her proposal, he swiftly makes his final decision. Absolutely, I will definitely go. So she immediately arranges the travel plans for him. Travel with our Yuheng Star Palace then, so my sister and I can assist you. Xuanga steps closer to Zhu Minglang, saying in a cold tone, Yuheng Star Goddess, I know you and Zhu Minglang are blood-related, but you and Meng Zun have massive responsibilities. You must guide the disciples of the Yuheng Star Palace, so having Zhu Minglang travel with you is highly inconvenient, and invite gossip. Zhu Minglang looks at the Star Goddess and whispers, It is fine, Auntie. I can travel with Xuanga since we went together before. His aunt reluctantly agrees. Outside, Zhu Minglang smiles warmly, but on the inside, his guard is fully up. And there it is, Xuanga shows her true colors. I already suspected she was colluding with evil gods when she murdered Lu Wu to silence him. Now that she desperately wants to tag along, she definitely has dark intentions. Xuanga maintains her aloof demeanor, but she is secretly laughing on the inside. The situation on Yoyin is rather chaotic, filled with unpredictable dangers and perfect variables. This makes it the absolute best chance to strike. Zhu Minglang, your life is mine. Cutting to the skies near Yoyin Star, we see 5 figures floating silently in midair. Wei Heng approaches alongside two ladies to report that according to Xuan Gei's calculations, the Yuan star will drift closest to the Beidou divine state right at midnight. At that exact moment, an incredibly powerful heaven-guiding current will form between them. If we ride this cosmic flow, we should be able to enter the inner core of Yu Yin's star. Zhu Minglang nods in understanding. Wei Heng, however, cannot help but ask a curious question. Are you two also disciples of the Xuanga Star Palace? Is Xuanga herself not traveling with us? The two walking next to Niu Hang quickly introduce themselves, stating she is Luke Oan, the sword immortal of the southern palace of Xuan, Star Palace, and she is Lao Tian from the western palace. Lord Xuanga must activate the heavenly guide stone first, then meet us at Yuan Star later. He silently ponders, well, isn't this just great? It is his first time meeting Xuan Gei's trusted inner circle. He actually thought she had no subordinates, but now they have all been sent to keep a close eye on him. Seeing the time has come, Tu Chuyan makes an announcement, telling the Star Lords to follow him to activate the Heavenly Guide Stone. From below, Nui Hang calls out for everyone to go ahead, and he will follow shortly. Then, the group gathers to release their energy. Dongthon shouts loudly, everything reverses. The Heavenly Guide path begins. Giant rocks slowly float up, while smaller stones shatter into tiny dust particles. A massive surge of energy carrying the shattered debris shoots straight up into the sky. Meanwhile, Ni Heng, Luke Oan, and Lao Tian land gently on the ground. He looks around, filled with confusion. He asks where young Master Truck went, wondering if he got swept away by falling rocks. But Luke Owen has no idea. She thinks that is unlikely since she remembers him landing safely. So perhaps he just has not reached their designated meeting spot yet. Right now, Zhu Minglang is watching silently from a distance. He really has no desire to travel alongside Xuan Gei's people. Moving alone is much more convenient. Hiding behind some tall grass, he asks the fish below if Master Xin knows where to find the million-year-old tree on Yuan Star. He means the kind of tree that serves as a nest for ancient beasts, which would be incredibly helpful for the little golden dragon. His sister-in-law gave him this advice before he arrived. Master Xin hesitantly replies that it is likely south of where the Injokhoan Star Palace landed, near a rumored mountain. But what kind of mountain? Suddenly, Zhu Minglang freezes, and you won't believe the massive thing that just appeared before him. Master Xin, look at that giant tree over there. Looking in that direction, Master Xin exclaims that he finally remembers it is the Heavenly Tree mountain range. He then briefly explains the colossal tree. This range was actually formed from a single ancient tree. It spreads its seeds onto its own branches, allowing aerial roots to easily grow from above. Over generations, its descendants grow directly on top of it, slowly building up into a massive mountain. He quickly suggests that the tree right in the center must be the million-year-old one, so they should go check it out. After a while, he notices something is off, muttering that this mountain is behaving in a very bizarre way. He wonders why they are back at the same trees they just saw. Master Xin gets quite nervous, fearing they might be trapped in some sort of illusion maze. This usually happens because some mountain overlord is actively restricting the movements of any outsiders who enter. Zhu Minglang ponders this before asking if they can escape, simply by tracking down and defeating this mountain overlord. Master Xin quickly confirms that it would indeed let them leave, but warns that this particular boss will not be an easy opponent to handle. Before they know what they are dealing with, it is best not to act recklessly. They should observe first, then lure it out when the time is right. Just then, Nui Hang, Luke Oan, and Lao Tian fly over. They call out to young Master Truck, glad to have found him, while Zhu Minglang tensely wonders how they tracked him down so fast. They are sticking to him like glue. Luke Oan gently explains that Lord Xuan Ge sent them because it is extremely easy to get lost in these mountains. She notes that he seems to be completely stuck here, and he can only offer a forced smile, admitting she might be right. Lao Tian pulls out a mysterious object and brings it close to him. She says they have a divine compass that points the way, but because it drains a massive amount of power, they must take turns holding it. They have already taken turns holding it for the time it takes an incense stick to burn, so now it is his turn, and he cannot refuse. The moment Zhu Minglang takes the compass, he instantly senses a massive trap. Why is this thing draining so much of his power the second he touches it? Master Xin quickly warns him to drop it, saying he won't even last half that time. Zhu Minglang is completely baffled, wondering what is going on here. As he watches the backs of Nui Hang's group, Master Xin shares his dark suspicion. He suspects Xuan Ge has already figured out his identity and sent these people to test him. If he cannot hold the compass for that long, it will prove he is a fallen god. Master Xin's fish face grows increasingly tense, but if he plays along, Xuanja might be waiting at the exit to ambush him. That means he would have absolutely no divine power left to defend himself. Zhu Minglang completely agrees with his logic, realizing that Xuanga is incredibly cunning. Pushed into this absolute corner, he makes his move. Instantly raising his hand, he summons the Thian Sot dragon, ordering it to roar loudly. Turning back with deep suspicion, Nui Hang asks what on earth he is doing. But Zhu Minglang only offers a slight smile, suggesting that slowly walking with a compass is too annoying, so they should do something far more exciting. Since defeating the mountain overlord will force it to guide them out, the mighty Thiensat dragon bursts forth, followed closely by the powerful silhouette of a giant eagle. Ngui Heng gasps in total shock. The Huan Ung Vu Tian has got monarch tier power. Why on earth did you summon it? Just then, a majestic dark eagle appears, flapping its wings and grumbling, "Who dares disturb my rest? What do you want?" Without any hesitation, Zhu Minglang steps forward. "It is me. I got lost trying to find the Thai Ko Chi Thur. They say if I beat the mountain lord, I can travel these wild mountains completely free, going wherever I want, so yeah, I totally baited you out here." Hearing this, Lo Thien asks him in confusion, "You could have just traveled with us. Why did you have to provoke this beast?" Zhu Minglang casually responds, "Is not this just way more convenient though? Besides, you all wanted to lead me out, but I still need to find the flag tree." Lo Thien still wants to try and convince him, but before she can, Ngui Heng steps up and whispers directly in her ear. No need to advise him further, he is likely an untin fork thun. He probably cannot waste his divine power on our compass, which is why he will not join us. Up high, the Huin Ung beats its massive wings. "I accept your challenge. If you beat me, I will guide you to the Thai Ko Chi Thor." Just then, Luke Oan bravely steps forward to question the beast. "Wait, he is our companion." But before she can even get close, the Huan Ung furiously flaps its wings, blowing her away. "Irrelevant weaklings. Clear out." With that, the beast turns and calls out to Zhu Minglang and Thien Sat, "Follow me closely. Even the sky here obeys the same rules as the ground, so get careless, and you will get lost." The other three can only watch them go. Lo Thien asks in deep worry, "If we just let him go like this, how do we explain this to Lord Huyen Kwa?" Ngui Heng calmly reassures her, "Do not worry, I have my ways." A bit later, the Huin Ung leads Zhu Minglang to a colossal tree trunk, wide enough to serve as an arena. "All right, we will fight here." Instantly, its wings unleash a violent gale that slashes forward like sharp blades, aiming right at Thien Sat. That sudden strike catches both Thien Sat and Zhu Minglang off guard, but Thien Sat reacts instantly, soaring up to dodge the hit. He commands Tian Sha Long, "Hide for now and wait for the perfect opening to strike." But check this out, the Mountain Lord's relentless attacks target both of them with absolute, terrifying precision. Zhu Minglang frowns, thinking to himself, "Pretty impressive. It can control the local winds and read every movement here, so relying solely on Tian Sha Long is going to be incredibly tough. I have got to step in myself." Without delaying, he summons his sword Makta to execute the Huinhua sword technique, but before the blade can even land, the Huinung blows him away with violent wind control. It sneers with supreme arrogance in this territory. "Absolutely nobody stands a chance against me. Even if you summon every single one of your dragons together, you still will not win. Since I am in a good mood, I will overlook your disrespect and toss you right back to where you started." Zhu Minglang stays silent, staring down from the high platform. Finally, he fully pieces together why they kept saying escaping this massive forest was totally impossible. Turns out, this whole place is designed like a massive spiral, so the roads and airflow force you to walk in endless circles right back to the start. Suddenly, Zhu Minglang completely freezes up in thought. Wait a minute, could this airflow guidance actually move in circular loops? The Huiyan Ung turns to fly off, but seeing him lag behind, it snaps at him to hurry up. Keep close, because even this open sky here follows the exact same strict pathing rules as the ground. If you get careless, even your flying dragons will end up hopelessly lost in midair. Both sides overflow with battle intent, and if this platform is what he thinks, it functions the exact same way. It is a closed space governed by a circular loop, which he deduces from the scattered swords. If so, he can also manipulate this wind flow. Zhu Minglang gently touches Tian Sat, whispering instructions. Tian Sha Long, return for now. I will switch to Nur Oa Long to fight him. The Huan Ung watches with deep disdain. Interesting, but the result will be exactly the same. Summoned by Zhu Minglang, Nur Oa emerges surrounded by thick water mist, immediately preparing her ultimate skill. Out of nowhere, a massive water torrent bursts through the ground, blasting toward the Huan Ung, making it screech in rage. What are you doing? Did you not want a fair and square duel? Why resort to underhanded tricks just to toy with me? It is deeply irritating. But he refuses to back down. You use this area's airflow, so I am just taking advantage of what works for me. With a swift wave of Nur Oa's hand, hundreds of massive boulders soar into the air, launching straight at the Huan Ung. Unleashing a massive windstorm, it barely dodges. But without those spatial currents, the Huan Ung now totally panics. Something is wrong. Why are my wings suddenly so heavy? Seizing this perfect moment, Nur Oa relentlessly rains brutal attacks directly on it. Unable to dodge any longer, the Huan Ung takes a devastating beating, leaving it absolutely battered. Seeing this, Zhu Minglang is highly satisfied. Alright, now you can finally tell me the exact location of that ancient Thai Ko Chi Thor. The Huan Ung carries Zhu Minglang there, leaving him utterly gasping in awe. Is this really the legendary 10,000-year tree? The majestic eagle slowly confirms the Thaikochi Thor you seek is right here. Zhu Minglang respectfully offers his thanks, and the eagle immediately flies away. As Zhu Minglang stands there dazed, staring at the ancient tree, a sudden voice echoes behind him, and Huinlong confidently declares he can actually communicate with it. Zhu Minglang looks over quite skeptically. Really? What do you actually want to say to it? Huinlong lets out a few more roars, and the ancient tree responds with powerful energy. Zhu Minglang is confused, asking Sai what the tree is trying to say. Listening closely, he manages to understand quite a bit. It seems the tree says it hasn't seen rain for countless years, so it cannot gift you the million-year-old sacred dew. Zhu Minglang looks at Zhai in absolute shock. You understand that? Why didn't you just talk to it yourself? But he quickly refuses. Is it really okay to push an old man like him to make small talk? Meanwhile, Huinlong makes those strange noises again. Zai translates for Zhu Minglang right away. The tree is warning that the Yuangan star is about to fall. It's digging its roots deep into the earth, tightly holding the planet's meridian lines. That way, when the Yuangan star falls, the mountains and rivers won't lose their balance during the impact. But the next words leave both of them completely frozen because this effort is totally useless. Even if the tree uses its entire body to protect the planet, the falling impact of Yuangan star will generate absolute, incinerating heat. In the end, the entire star and the tree itself will likely turn to ash. After all, it can never leave this place. This is almost certainly the very last struggle it can make. If the Yuangan star is destroyed, it means the complete and utter extinction of its entire species. Zhu Minglang briefly falls silent. Is that so? Humans are indeed quite selfish, chasing their own greed while ignoring the lives of countless other innocent creatures. He calls out quietly to his little dragon, Little Huinlong, ask if this tree has any seeds or maybe a branch we can take. Once we leave this place, I will plant them on another planet, and maybe its race can still find a way to live on. Huinlong flaps his wings to confirm the tree's response. Holding the seed bag, Zhu Minglang smiles. There really are seeds. Do not worry, I will plant these seeds elsewhere. Even if the Yuangan star is destroyed, your kind will not face total extinction. Deeply moved by his words, the ancient tree sheds a single sapphire blue droplet that shines as bright as a star in the night sky. Zai gasps in shock, yelling that it is a tree tear. Confused, Zhu Minglang asks what that means, so Zai explains. These are tears that flow when a primordial tree gets emotional, just like humans do. A million-year tree tear is actually far more precious than sacred dew. Zhu Minglang looks at the ancient tree in deep thought. He reaches out to touch it gently. Don't worry, I will absolutely help you. Even if I cannot save every single soul on the Yuangan star, I will rescue as many as I can. Then out of nowhere, boom, the earth completely splits right under his feet, and you can practically hear his panic. What is happening? The ground is moving. In the distance, a massive crack tears across the forest, pulling the very air currents toward it. His eyes widen in absolute amazement as a majestic dragon suddenly erupts from the depths of the earth with a powerful roar. Seeing this, Zai instantly recognizes the creature. Now, I get why the Yuangan star has no master. It is because the planet itself was formed from a dragon. Zhu Minglang asks in disbelief, can a dragon turn into a star? That is a first for me. Knowing he is skeptical, Xai firmly assures him that not every single star is connected to humans. Some worlds are born from primordial beasts, with their rivers and lands formed from its body. Even the trees and flowers are fully protected by its spirit. But as the dragon tears through the sky, three figures suddenly appear, chasing after it in hot pursuit. Tu Chuyen forms hand seals and yells, demanding they set up the battle formation. Watching them, Zhu Minglang realizes that if this dragon dies, the Yuangan star won't last much longer. It is definitely time for them to make a quick escape. But look who shows up. A voice behind him warns he isn't going anywhere. Recognizing the voice, Zhu Minglang smiles in self-derision. While everyone else is busy fighting a dragon, how is the great lady Xuange so relaxed? Coming all this way to find me, you didn't just desert your post, did you? Xuange sneers back, telling Zhu Minglang there is no need to pretend. I know exactly who you are, and you surely know my true identity. But Zhu Minglang barely cares about her words. Sorry, he replies, I have absolutely no interest in a traitor's past. I also don't expect you to share any clues about who murdered the previous generation's god. I will track down the killer myself. As long as you stay out of my way, we are good. Xuange smirks, highly amused. What if I refuse to speak? What if it turns out I am actually allied with the killer? Zhu Minglang just looks at her with icy eyes. Then let's finish this right here and now. Xuange slowly steps closer. I only came to tell you the truth. I have no time to fight you. I still need to help pull down the Yuangan star, though my help isn't needed quite yet. Her gaze is not only confident, but filled with fierce defiance and determination, as she announces that his real opponent is right here. Zhu Minglang is stunned by this new arrival. Chu God, why is it you? He scowls in sheer annoyance. Did you think I was blind to the matters of Hong Thien Fong and Hak Thien Fong? You caused such a scene provoking me, how could I possibly ignore it? But someone like me has never been one to make a move easily. Unless you can completely put your opponent to death in a single strike. He smirks with pure disdain at first. I did not think you were even worthy of fighting me, but looking at you now, you are steadily approaching a godlike state. Letting you grow like this will only threaten me and your other enemies. Hearing Duthun speak, Zhu Minglang realizes that he and Huyen Kwa planned this from the start. Huyen Kwa turns around. Stepping into the gate, I am heading out first. You can take your time dealing with him. Duthun flashes a sinister smile, completely fine with it, and immediately throws down a challenge. Come on, Fukthun. Let us settle our old and new grudges once and for all. Zhu Minglang gets into a fighting stance, my thoughts exactly. The sky suddenly goes pitch black as a massive ancient tree towers above, radiating a highly mysterious glow. He looks up in absolute confusion, wondering why everything suddenly went dark. Shinangai quickly explains that this is the site of the eternal night. Under the eternal night, not only is the sun unable to rise, but the flow of time actually shifts. One day inside is worth one full year in your world. Deep worry covers his face as he warns that this is likely an illusion they made to simulate the eternal night. Even if it cannot last long, the skewed flow of time inside is probably quite close to the real thing. Zhu Minglang pieces it together great. The Yuan star is about to crash, and trapping me here means you want to die with me. With a highly calculating smirk, he scoffs not at all. Huyen Kwa set up a teleportation spell so I can escape whenever I want, leaving you to die alone. Determination burns in his eyes. In that case, I will just wrap this up quickly and take you down first. Now get ready for this. As his staff spins, wild winds violently swirl as if following a quiet command. Duthun swings down with enough force to split the seas. Zhu Minglang is quite shocked to see this. This guy holds divine power that is easily on par with Bai Qi. He makes his move too, murmuring that it looks like they have finally found a pretty worthy opponent. White wings spread wide as Bai Qi shines brilliantly, surrounded by wild bands of swirling purple energy. Duthun sweeps his staff across the sky like a rising dragon, unleashing massive waves of rolling blue energy. But Bai Qi easily blocks the heavy blow, prompting Zhu Minglang to quickly unleash his next move, trying to bully my dragon. Are we? I will not let you get away with this, he shouts, drawing the Satine sword as he charges straight forward with absolute destructive force. Facing each other up close, the suffocating bloodlust fills the entire air as Duthun barely blocks the strike with a furious roar. The exact second their weapons collide, a massive explosion of bright golden light completely floods the entire area. Duthun's heavy staff is clean sliced in half by Zhu Minglang's sword, but a sudden blinding flash from the jade around his neck catches him off guard. Zhu Minglang looks up in wonder, quite sure he has seen that exact jade piece somewhere before. He suddenly recalls his conversation about the two great treasures of the Yungan star, a million-year-old tree, and the Nwert Luli divine jade itself. Since finding the tree is simple, while identifying the jade is quite tough, he only searched for the tree, smiling highly deviously. The Nwert Luli divine jade can trigger Bai Qi's breakthrough. Who would have thought it was on Duthun this whole time? I will definitely take it, he thinks with a savage grin. Do not think some cheap trick can defeat me whenever I wish. I can return everything right back to its original state, Duthun sneers. Zhu Minglang falls silent, calculating deeply. This divine jade not only levels up my dragon but also fully repairs broken divine weapons. Stealing it is my absolute only path to victory here. He warns Bai Qi to watch out for that dangerous staff technique and carefully dodge his destructive strikes, which the clever dragon easily and gracefully does. With a light and graceful twist, the dragon soars upward, escaping the brutal slam in the nick of time. His relentless follow-up attacks keep missing, making Duthun grit his teeth in pure frustration, before Bai Qi suddenly lunges like a gust of wind to snatch the jade right off his neck. Hovering high above, with the precious gem firmly in its mouth, its sparkling eyes seem to mock and tease the furious warrior below. Swooping down effortlessly, Bai Qi hands the divine jade over to Zhu Minglang, who beams with a very proud smile. We finally got it. But wait, just as he celebrates this victory, the entire sky and ground suddenly begin to violently shake. What is happening? Shingai asks in absolute shock, explaining that the Yunnan star is already reacting and will likely crash down very soon. Unease begins to creep into his chest, realizing that even though they cannot see the outside danger from within this illusion, the threat is definitely extremely close. Standing tall and proud, Duthun finally speaks up. What did you think I relied on to achieve my rank of Chiu Duthun? Surely you did not think it was this Nwert Luli divine jade, right? This gem was just a random trinket I picked up around here. So even if your dragon uses it to break through, you are still absolutely no match for me. Zhu Minglang stands completely frozen, realizing this monster still has an escape plan. Duthun laughs mockingly. It is time to end this little game. And instantly, a sea of raging flames engulfs them, revealing the terrifying reality of the outside world. Arrogantly, Duthun gloats that Huiyanhua only told him to buy time earlier to avoid any unexpected trouble. She didn't think I could take you down, so she wanted the falling dark silver star to kill you, but I have a side to me she's yet to see. The energy radiating from Zhao Yao Chen makes him prouder than ever, as he mocks, "How does my divine power feel to you? Are you jealous?" Zhu Minglang stands there completely dazed, unable to comprehend how absorbing the Earth Soul could possibly boost his strength by this much. Xing'ai is totally sure he dealt with Zhe Kang, and Zhao Yao Chen's face looks terrifying. If you sacrifice your own blood relatives to Shi Kang, you can easily obtain this exact kind of insane power too. The stronger your family is in life, the greater the power Xie Kang grants you. Sacrificing my own sister's soul is exactly how I gained this insane strength. Zhu Minglang spits in utter disgust. You are nothing but a beast. No, even worse than a beast. I will sever your sinful karma and drag you straight to hell, as he launches his direct attack, using his spirit as a furnace to draw righteous energy from heaven and earth, crushing all demonic karma. Unleashing his supreme god-slaying sword, Zhu Minglang strikes with such lightning speed that Zhao Yao Chen cannot react, his staff instantly shattering into tiny pieces. Gritting his teeth in fury, he curses that Xuanhua had warned him to watch out for this god-slaying power, and yet he was still careless. With things at this point, he must improvise. If he can just escape and let Xuanhua pull him back, he should be perfectly fine. He quickly sits down, entering a deep state of meditation. Suddenly, a blinding light flashes across the sky. Zhu Minglang looks up and realizes it is a lightning tribulation, meaning he cannot attack while it is active. He cannot help but mutter in complete confusion, wondering if he had already severed his Xie Kang power. Why is he still alive and about to break through? Xing'ai strictly warns him to look closely. This lightning belongs to Zheng Kang, not Xie Kang. Zhu Minglang can only ask in utter confusion. So this guy basically just goes wherever the wind blows, right? Since I scattered his Xie Kang power, he immediately wants to run to Zheng Kang instead. Xing'ai keeps speaking without taking his eyes off the enemy, stating he does not have the ability to jump back and forth like that. He can only pull this off because of the restriction around his waist. The elder already realized this restriction was placed by Xuanhua to help him escape the Dark Silver Star, using Zheng Kang's power, and now he is releasing some to break through. Zhu Minglang finally understands. I get it now, but doing this will definitely loosen the restriction. Imagine that if he steals this seal, he gets to escape the Dark Silver Star instead. But suddenly, a massive bolt of lightning strikes down. Zhao Yao Chen leaps up laughing in delight, declaring that he is finally about to break through to the Lord Realm. The heavenly tribulation strikes his body directly, but Zhao Yao Chen only screams in absolute ecstasy. But the outcome is not what he expected, as another lightning bolt strikes down, leaving him utterly confused. He holds his head, screaming, "Why are you stopping me?" Zhu Minglang approaches calmly from a distance. It seems you have committed way too many sins. Even if you try to side with Zheng Kang at the last minute, Zheng Kang will never care about you. He waves his hand, shouting that with his terrible virtue, wanting to be a lord is a pipe dream. If he were Zheng Kang, he would slay him to uphold justice, swinging his blade right through his body. Zhao Yao Chen screams in pain as he realizes what just happened. His body completely vanishes as if evaporating from existence, leaving Zhu Minglang smiling in satisfaction, glad to have finally eliminated this terrible and dangerous disaster. But as he begins planning his next move, the ground all around them suddenly starts to shake violently, threatening to swallow them whole. Xing'ai flies over to warn him that the Dark Silver Star is falling, urging him to run. Grabbing the rope from Xing'ai, Zhu Minglang asks in confusion how to use this restriction, and if there is a secret signal between Xuanhua and Zhao Yao Chen. Xing'ai scolds and reminds him, asking why he is so stupid since there is still another end to this rope. Xuanhua must be pulling the other end, so all he has to do is follow the rope. He pulls the rope tight to test it, but then, something catches his eye that completely freezes him in his tracks right where he stands. Xing'ai stammers in absolute panic, and yeah, we all know that tone means trouble. Zhu Minglang just stands there, completely clueless about what is coming. Explaining further, Xing'ai says this must be an energy sensing restriction, binding both ends together as long as the energy is balanced on both sides. If one side loses energy, it will automatically pull toward the other side. But if the energy on one end completely disappears, he cuts in, realizing the other end will automatically cut itself off, right? Xuanhua really thought of everything. If Zhao Yao Chen's energy simply drops, it proves he used up strength after defeating me. But if his energy completely vanishes, she will immediately know I killed him. Xing'ai is extremely worried, agreeing that this allows Xuanhua to ensure the one she pulls back is indeed Zhao Yao Chen, while you are guaranteed to die here. However, this restriction was not originally designed like this, as it links both ends in a shared fate of life and death. Zhu Minglang sighs in absolute amazement after hearing that, muttering how Zhuangge is basically using a massive cleaver to carve a tiny chicken. He asks how they should modify the restriction, and Shiai finally manages to calm down. Shiai explains you only need a bit of divine power, but who are you trying to bind with? Surely not me? Zhu Minglang smiles confidently. Of course he wants to bind with the Yuyin star, since escape is impossible anyway. Hearing this, Shi screams in shock. What? Are you crazy? Shi screams that Yuyin star is about to crash. Yet, Zhu Minglang remains unfazed by his outburst, knowing that after its fall, it will surely be reborn. They only want to drag Yuyin star down, so that after its destruction, it can be reborn right onto Zhu's original orbit. But normal humans are simply unable to achieve that. Ji is somehow completely won over by his calm confidence, muttering that they might as well try since there is no other choice anyway. Hide in my domain for now, Zhu Minglang says. I will release you later. Right after that, the end of the purple rope is cast. Watch this moment. Zhu Minglang silently stares at the crimson sky as the cosmic rope binds onto Yuyin's star. He can slowly feel the shifting energies of the star, along with the deep resentment of all the living creatures on Yuyin's star as they face complete destruction. A brand new life will begin right here, and he is bound to share the exact same fate as this star. From the center of the universe, a massive explosion erupts. Just outside the galaxy, Sichuan's group gathers together at a single spot. Chi is the first to speak, noting that after defeating the primordial dragon, Yoyin Star has now fallen and will soon be reborn in their planned location. For now, we only need to wait, but has everyone returned? Sichuan asks with a slight hint of worry in his voice. Pretty much, but for some reason, I still do not see Zhu Minglang. She turns her head back to ask everyone else. Goddess Wanga, did you see Zhu Minglang? Shuanga replies that she has no idea. I remember he insisted on searching for his fortune in the Tianshu mountain range, splitting from our group, and we have not seen him since. She smirks secretly, thinking how Zhu Minglang tried to breach the restriction of the Zhaoyao god after leaving Yoyin's star. But because the energy is completely unstable, she suspects the Zhaoyao god was killed by Zhu Minglang, though he would hardly survive either. Chu-Chi walks over to Linghu and asks if Fairy Linghu has received any news about Zhu Minglang. She anxiously answers that their Yuheng Star Palace sent out countless disciples to search and gather information everywhere, but they still have heard absolutely nothing. Chu-Chi looks around in total confusion. If only she had sent people to keep an eye on him. Now she has no idea how to explain this to her sister. Suddenly, debris from the explosion comes hurtling their way. Sichuan quickly warns everyone to move, as the giant falling debris is coming straight for them and they need to make way. Everyone looks up at the massive meteorites flying towards them, their eyes completely filled with pure shock and surprise. Xingchen suddenly notices that one of the falling stones has something very strange about it. What is that? Thanks to the girl's warning, Shuanga looks up just in time. Squished right on top of the rock is Zhu Minglang. He vaguely feels as if he had fallen into a very long dream while inside Yoyin's star. He saw the past of Yoyin's star, when the primordial dragon created this planet, waiting for a human deity to inherit its great power. Yet, even as it grew old and mentally unstable, it never managed to meet anyone. He even saw himself exposing the sins of the righteous gods and putting them on trial. How strange, since he had slain some evil gods but never actually tried them. But get this, could this be a premonition of the future? Suddenly, brilliant golden light blinds the entire galaxy. The scattered stones that were flying wildly like meteorites have now completely merged into one massive, colossal boulder. From that giant boulder, it transforms into a full, brilliantly shining moon, and the constellations in the sky begin connecting. The stars align, showing Yaoguang, Kaiyang, Yuheng, Tianquan, Tianji, Tianshu, Tianchuan, Shuanga, and Yuyin. Chi-Chi screams in pure excitement, noting that Yoyin star has been reborn, and a brand new star along with Zhu's divine realm is born. Shuanga witnesses all of this, staring at Yoyin with sheer disbelief, muttering that it simply cannot be possible. Why can she feel the faint presence of Fu Chen God's power within this newly born star? Her face turns completely pale at the thought. Her unspoken thoughts finally slip out. He is not dead, and he even claimed the power of the ninth star. How is this possible?